just starting to get the feel of it. There's another Gamecock running back that I think everybody remembers that suffered an ACL injury, and unfortunately, I think right there before the Tennessee game, Marcus Lattimore said, "Yeah, I'm finally starting to feel like myself again, starting to run like myself." And then that gruesome injury against Tennessee, but that leads the way this morning. The news of Mo Kaba's injury, and we'll see. Obviously, out for the season, we'll see what it does for his career. Preston, you've been around players. You've seen it. Those ACLs in football, unfortunately, when they start to go, it's just body wear and tear. Even at a young age, we always relate it back to maybe being 60 or 70 or 80 and your body wearing down. It can happen. It doesn't happen as much, but it can happen in football.
Yeah, and this is why, and when players get injured, and we're just like, oh, it's just going to be a minor surgery, he'll be right back. There's never any guarantee that once you get injured, that you're going to be able to come back. And so we've made a lot of advancements in modern medicine, training, PT, physical therapy. We got all of that. However, what you're asking players to do, what players are doing on a daily basis, is not a natural movement, and there's going to be wear and tear, and unfortunately, people will get injured.
803-404-6100. Unfortunate news again about Mokaba, but if you want to weigh in this morning, we'll get more into what Shane Beamer had to say yesterday as it pertains to his team. Preston, get your shots in now on the offensive line, basically, is what he's saying.
Okay, I hear you.
We'll get into more of that. We'll talk a little bit some other things that I wanted to get into. That do we want to call it that family member? That do you want to go that family member or that friend?
Either one will suffice. Either one will suffice.
We'll get into that a little bit. That family member or friend that's always right. That they didn't seem to be right a week ago, but they called it right. They
They
called they called the
the
they
one
called the upset.
they called it.
They
That's how you can title it. I called
I called it person.
it.
I called it friend or family member. 803-404-6100. How you can weigh in this morning. Get a lot. We'll get to a lot. We're going to have an early edition of Kerry Tharp this week. He's not wrapping up. He's not done, Preston, until December 30th, basically. He's already kind of admitted last week that December 31st will be an off day for him. But Kerry Tharp will join us earlier this week for our NASCAR Corley Pool Solutions Pick'em Challenge. And then, of course, we will have Brian Edwards, a Vegas Insider, on in the 8 o'clock hour, providing, because he's done this, Preston, providing he wakes up. He is technically an hour behind us.
Gotcha.
So there always is that chance. 803-404-6100. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. And Gamecock Larry wanting to weigh in this morning. Gamecock Larry, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. Mo Carver, he was injured in high school, right? So that might be just a lingering injury, but injuries come with football, but nothing I can say. Just hope for the best for the young man, and I hope we get some of these men back. But I was beginning to think about these hamstring pulls. We had hamstrings in baseball, now we got hamstrings in football. I don't know. But boy, I'll tell you what, Monday night's game was the best medicine, feel better quick for this old Gamecock, Larry, than anything the doctors could order. Boy, when you put that on Clemson, I almost forgot about the North Carolina game, but I can't forget about it. But that's about all we got to say. Old Gamecock Larry trying to get him some liver pudding and grits wild up here. That I just want to let you know we're gonna be okay. And I'm gonna say, person I can hear him holler now, Gamecock Larry, that lost his mind. We gonna beat Georgia by one. I'll give him a half a point, and but we gonna beat Georgia by one. I'll give you a half a point, Preston. We gonna beat Georgia. We gonna defeat the Bulldogs. That's all I got to say. Love all y'all. Go Gamecock.
Speaking of that family member who says that they called it,
Yeah, he's made predictions for 6 years here, and he did call the Will Muschamp first year Tennessee victory.
He called it.
He did also call the 2019 Georgia victory.
He called it.
He's missed a couple times too.
Well,
as well.
we don't discuss those. It's like the SAT. You just answer the question.
Hey.
You're gonna get it. Nothing wrong for taking the shot.
You want to discuss
Don't
how
leave any blame.
you want to discuss how we deal with losses? I can go ahead and tell you right now. We just call the next victory. Next, of course, he's not calling really. I hope he's not calling the next victory because he just skipped right on over Furman.
Well, I think he was just saying that's implied.
Bulletin,
Affirmed, applied.
bullet,
Which again, based on what we said, Shane Beamer would recommend that we do not do that because they're a heck of a team, which they are. You know.
bulletin board material for Furman. That audio right there will just be played on the sound system as they're warming up today. Gamecock Larry just skipping right over Furman this week and getting ready for whatever. 803-404-6100. That's how you can be a part of the program this morning. Again, we'll let Preston talk a little bit about getting your shots in on the offensive line. He wants to get into some Deion Sanders. We had an odd week with our radio show because Monday was a day off for everybody, so a lot of people weren't traveling in the morning. Yesterday, as you mentioned, we had some technical difficulties. We're ready to go, but we'll get into all that. Preston's got a manifesto he wants to get into. Did I say it correctly?
Manifesto, yeah. I just want to talk about again. Some of y'all we weren't here Tuesday. We may have been on vacation on Monday. I just want to make sure that we're all claro on how we deal with losses here in the early game. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page so that we can all move forward.
Preston Thorne takes you down that path when we come back. It's the early game.
Here's what's coming up on the game.
There was no special teams touchdown Saturday, so the pot goes up another $100 in the Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Touchdown Contest. Now, if the Gamecocks do score a special teams touchdown this Saturday versus Furman, you could win $200. Register every week at 1075thegame.com.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 1075 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Underdog Fantasy has become the new way to play alongside your favorite football team, and you can do it all season long. I know I've been doing it, making a couple selections each night and trying to win a little money. You can do the same. Go to your app store and download the Underdog Fantasy app and sign up today. Use the promo code 1075 The Game, and Underdog will double your first deposit of up to $100. Again, use that promo code 1075 The Game. I've been having a blast playing. You can do the same. You can get Thursday night football coming up. Maybe you can have a selection on Patrick Mahomes, yards higher or lower. Go to underdogfantasy.com and check it out. Must be 18 years or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. If you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Beer Keller Brewing Company, Columbia's original riverfront beer garden and brewery, is now open. Their new location on Columbia's riverfront is an ideal spot for all your future soccer and football tailgates. Games will be shown in both their indoor beer hall as well as their indoor-outdoor beer garden. Grab a beer, bratwurst, or schnitzel from their self-service counters while cheering on your favorite team. Beer Keller is located right off I-26. Take UG to Taylor to Canalside Street, then follow the flags. Come enjoy Beer Keller's laid-back location right on the river. Gross!
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hostetler Brown. If you or a loved one are over 65 and haven't completed a long-term care planning consultation, now is the time. Did you know that if you aren't able to afford the high cost of skilled care, your assets can be rapidly depleted to only $2,000 unless you plan 5 years in advance? Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Everything that you've ever seen with Miranda Lambert on it, I have my finger on the pulse of what it is. Idlewind, I've seen every article of clothing. I've spent hours and hours seeing inspirations. I've sent clothes that I love and fabrics, and I'm involved in every single garment that you see. It's important to me that it is an extension of my music, and it's an extension of who I am. I always want it to stay as honest as my music. Idlewind at Boot Barn.
Football season is grilling season, and Jack Oliver's Pool Spa and Patio is South Carolina's premier source for the Big Three. Weber, Traeger, and Big Green Egg Grills. Blackstone Griddles, too. I'm Jack Oliver. Grill all your tailgate favorites to perfection with a premium gas, charcoal, or pellet grill, then top it all off with something sizzling from your Blackstone Griddle. For grills, griddles, patio furniture, hot tubs, and saunas, shop in store or online at Jack Oliver's Pool Spa and Patio, Forest Drive in Columbia, and jackoliverpools.com.
Introducing Herndon Certified. Herndon Certified used vehicles are quality assured and come with our 60-day warranty, complete with nationwide coverage. Don't just buy a used car. Buy a Herndon Certified used car and drive with confidence, knowing Herndon's got you covered. Find your perfect pre-owned in-store or online at herndonchevy.com.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring sergeants and lieutenants statewide. If you have correctional, security, military, or police experience, you can join SCDC as a sergeant or lieutenant. There's a $7,500 sign-on bonus and increased pay for most security positions. Start a rewarding new career with great benefits today. Visit joinscdc.com to apply now or call 803-734-JOBS for more information.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified, Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence, knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
1075 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
And taking a look at your traffic conditions out there this morning, all good so far. No major slowdowns, no accidents to report at this time. And as far as your forecast is concerned, definitely warming up. And it's going to be warm for the next few days. Could see some rain coming in this weekend, but we're looking for high today of about 96 and 95 with some late storms coming in tomorrow. But right now, not too bad, 10 miles and 73 on the early game.
The early game.
With Bill Gutcher, Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 1075 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
I would hope there'd be great improvement. I would hope there'd be great improvement with our technique and fundamentals. I know y'all probably tired of us saying that, but it's true. We need to play with better technique this week, and I would hope there'd be great improvement with our winning the one-on-one competitive plays. You know, we can knock our offensive line all we want. We didn't win enough one-on-ones on the defensive line either. When you have one tackle for loss and you have one sack, well, that means that UNC blocked your front pretty good, and we didn't have enough guys that got off blocks and made plays. We've got to be better everywhere as well, and confident we will be as we win more competitive battles. We improve our technique, and then guys, I mean, they're gonna get better each week, and these young guys are going to continue to grow up as well as they get experience, without a doubt. I certainly don't want a slow burn, because to me, a slow burn is okay. Well, let's just take our time, and they gradually get better, and then let's get to November and figure. Trying to do this stuff right now, and trying to force the issue with urgency as quick as possible.
Shane Beamer yesterday during the press conference talking about week-to-week improvement. Preston, I don't know if it was Lou Holtz or just every coach that's out there, basically says the most improvement comes from week 1 to week 2. Is that a bunch of hakui, or is as a player and as a former coach, is there a little truth to that?
There's a lot of truth to it. There's a lot of truth to it, because what happens is you're basically creating in the dark for the whole preseason. And you think you might be good, but you have no idea, because you haven't practiced against anybody else. So if your mediocre D line is practicing against your below average offensive line, you don't know if either one of y'all are any good.
You think one of them's really good, the
Yeah.
other one's just a slightly not good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you just kind of see it. They're like, oh, we might be all right. Oh, okay. You have some days where you think, and then you go against somebody, and you're like, oh,
We're not that good.
maybe we're not. And then you have to go back to the drawing board and maybe try and correct some things. The question is, where are they improving from? There will be improvement, but are they improving from F to D, or they're improving from C to B? Everybody's going to make improvement. That's the thing that coaches don't tell you. If week 1 and week 2 is the time for improvement, then while you're improving, guess who else is improving? The other team. North Carolina's improving too, or Georgia's improving also. So everybody's improving, and if y'all are improving at the same rate, then kind of stay at the same place.
Going back to Saturday night, we did yesterday. We did our the cocktail hour for Gamecocks Plus, and one thing that I brought up on there is understanding a loss, kind of like what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And look, no, I'm not trying to sugarcoat or say that the way the offensive line played, and we'll talk about the offensive line and what Shane Beamer said in the next segment. But I do think just putting a bow on the North Carolina game, and the only reason we're doing it on a Wednesday is, again, because of an odd week that we've had here on this show personally. But North Carolina was favored. North Carolina was favored. North Carolina is ranked. I don't know how good North Carolina is going to be. I think they're going to be 8-9 win team. Do they get to 10 or 11? Who knows? Maybe they fall flat on their face and only win 5 or 6. But I don't see that happening. But this isn't the equivalent. We did the game, and I brought it up on the cocktail hour. We ain't.
Mm-hmm. At least we ain't.
At least we ain't. And hey, that's what I'm saying. You didn't lose to some non-Power 5 school at home like Baylor did, where you also lost your quarterback.
You weren't a 20-point favorite losing to a team with the first-year coach, new quarterback, and 55 transfers.
Well, yeah, you're kind of on the same path. You're not, when Will Muschamp lost to North Carolina as a double-digit favorite with a true freshman quarterback, even though he coached there with Mack Brown being a first-year head coach for a second time there at North Carolina. So it's different. That doesn't mean you have to be happy with it and just go, oh, I accept it. No, I get it. Yes, we should have lost. No, South Carolina could have won this game and maybe should have won this game. If Marion Brown catches a pass, if you can punch one of those in the end zone there, the 2 times you get into the inside the 25 and you don't score. But I also caution going over the edge just because North Carolina last year had a bad defense. Defenses can improve. It's not unrealistic, right? And that's kind of, I think, where you're going with handling a loss.
Yeah, it's just we just got to make sure that we handle the loss. As I said on Monday, and I say it again, on this show, I will always say what I mean, but as you said, you don't have to be mean when you say it. And so we will see truth, we will speak truth, and we will not glaze over any of the issues. And that's basically the idea of the concept of we lost this game. Does this mean that the end of the world is coming? Is the coop crumbling, the sky falling? I don't know.
The coop crumbling. Yes, I forgot. I think, was it Langston that put out was it you or Langston said, I think we've written a book.
Yeah, we've done this before. If you're a Gamecock fan, this may be familiar territory for you, right? So we don't think the coop is crumbling yet. Is it creaking? Is there leaking? Maybe a crack in the wall? I don't know. We're going to see here moving forward. But the first game was something that we're all in an evaluation.
Who did y'all have? Was it? I know we played it on one of the shows. Was it Courtney Levitt reading it as Lou Holtz?
We did.
I wish we had that audio right now.
That library of sound.
I wish we had it somewhere. We don't. It's years ago, and I don't know how we acquired it or where, what you did. But because as soon as you said the coop crumbling, I remembered Courtney Levitt of all people reading that and a really good book. But again, as we kind of put a bow on that, we look now toward Furman. That's going to be the next thing, is the corrections that are made and that theory of, okay, how much improvement is made from week 1 to week 2. And look, Furman, number 6 in the FCS. This isn't Eastern Illinois coming in here. This isn't some of the FCS teams that have wandered in here in the past. This is a team that believes in itself and is coming with the intent and the belief that they can come in here and pick up a big win for their program.
They're coming to win.
Yeah.
They're coming to play. And I believe the quarterback made some bulletin board gestures as he said that they're not unbeatable, which is a very timid take. That's a very timid. Like if you're gonna go out there, how did the Miami of Ohio quarterback do last week? I didn't check in.
Did not go well. Didn't go well. I don't think he made it to 100. I'll look to see what yardage he ended up.
How'd the real Ohio do?
But I can tell you this: the real Miami, the Hurricanes, scored quick, and then proceeded to score often.
Okay.
All
right. Well, the Furman quarterback was a little bit more tempered, and he just said, "I don't think they're unbeatable," which is very lukewarm take from a quarterback.
12 of 21 was Brett Gabbert, brother of former college quarterback Blaine Gabbert. 12 of 21, 127 yards. Now, in his defense, didn't throw an interception. Also didn't throw a touchdown.
Took care of the ball.
Took care of the ball. But, yeah, Rashad Amos, by the way, you might want to add him to your transfer portal. I forgot about this. Rashad Amos transfer portal Tuesday there. 8 carries, 30 yards. 8 carries, 30 yards, had a long of 23.
Okay. All right. Shout out to you, Rashad.
So there's just another name that was on the roster for South Carolina last year at the running back.
Yeah, but Furman's coming in here to try and win. They're coming in here to pull an upset. It would be an upset. South Carolina should. Let's not go too far now. South Carolina should win, and they should win handily. But Furman is a formidable opponent.
Kind of like Clemson and Duke. Maybe not.
I hope it. Look, maybe we should go back and pull that audio. I kind of predicted that. I Friday in Darlington, I kind of liked Duke in that game. They maybe even I declared that on this on the station on this program, that might be taken as a Gamecock homer opinion, but Duke under Mike Elko. I don't know how long Mike Elko will stay there, because he's got maybe he becomes a David Cutcliffe where he realizes he can have a level of success there and have a lot of job security, but we'll see. 803-404-6100. I'll get to some of these text messages as it pertains to injuries, and we'll get Preston's take on that. We'll also get into how much can you learn this week, because if the offensive line comes out and plays better and makes improvements from week 1 to week 2, it is Furman. That is supposed to happen. That is something that's supposed to happen. We'll let Preston weigh in, and we'll let you hear from Shane Beamer, because he basically said yesterday, it's shots in on the offensive line now. Preston's making a face. We'll let him explain as well. 803-404-6100. It's the early game.
Here's what's coming up on the game.
Join Jay and Terry Thursday from 3 to 6 p.m. at Carolina Honda Powerhouse on Buckner Road. Get ready for Gamecock Saturday. Last chance to register for the EU 2200i generator, valued at over $1,300.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
AAA Heating and Air is growing, and they're looking for a new HVAC service technician to join their team. So if you have just 5 years of experience under your belt, AAA Heating and Air wants you. So listen up here. This is a great opportunity. Contact AAA Heating and Air, 803-677-1500, or you can apply online, myaacareer.com. Take your career to the next level with AAA Heating and Air. Right now, AAA Heating and Air wants the best of the best, and that's why they're offering you the best, the highest pay in the industry, a comprehensive benefits package, including a 401k, insurance, and more. Plus, you can have a take-home truck and limited calls per day. So, again, take your career to the next level with AAA Heating and Air. Apply online at myaacareer.com. That's AAA Heating and Air.
Sponsored by Jeff Martin Auctioneers. Jeff Martin Auctioneers presents the D&J Machinery and Rigging Retirement Auction on Thursday, September 7th in Lexington, featuring cranes, lifting equipment, trucks, trailers, real estate, and more. Bid your way live on-site or online at jeffmartinauctioneers.com. Experience the difference. License 4283.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we know how serious injuries change people's lives. I'm Jason Reynolds. When you're involved in a major car or truck accident, my team is on your side. You don't have to be alone. Let's do this together.
And I'm Steven Sanders. When you're hurt at work, my team is with you from start to finish. We're people with a passion for helping injured workers. Bring your case to us and stop the line. We've got this.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Oh, I don't have time for a cold.
Honey,
Honey.
you need DayQuil Severe Honey flavor.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honey-delicious taste. Because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe Honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious. Power through your day, medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
Pedale Wine Pool and Spa is your one-stop shop for all things swimming pools and hot tubs. New construction of vinyl, fiberglass, or gunite swimming pools, as well as liner replacements, weekly maintenance, repairs to existing equipment, or upgrades. Come see us at 5541 Sunset Boulevard to check out our full line of spas and where we offer free water samples and all the chemicals you need to keep your pool and spa clear and clean. Pedale Wine Pool and Spa. You'll find us on Facebook or online at PedaleWinePools.com.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hostetler Brown. Do you know the difference between a revocable trust and an irrevocable trust? The difference could easily save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in long-term care costs. Visit lawyerlisa.com to schedule a consultation today.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Honey, you need a trust.
What you're talking about.
On 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. There are lots of places to buy your next ride, but there is no place like Love Chevy, where you never pay more than MSRP, ever. Come by and feel the difference of love. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads.
Carolina Power Equipment, the Midland's Kubota Superstore, is proud to announce our association with Kai Kroger, University of South Carolina punter extraordinaire.
I am super happy to be here. Carolina Power Equipment is the place to come get yourself a Kai Boda.
Sorry, Kai, that's Kubota. You know, Kubota tractors and zero turns.
That's right. Carolina Power Equipment has the awesome Kai Boda tractors that can kick some serious dirt.
Yes, the Kubota L Series tractors are some of the most dependable and popular tractors on the market.
Yep, and the Kai Boda zero turns can keep your lawn looking like game day every day. Guaranteed to stop and turn on a dime, just like my sweet kicks.
It's Kubota. Kubota. Kubota!
Yeah, that's what I said.
Carolina Power Equipment, 2490 Charleston Highway in the heart of Casey. Or visit CarolinaPowerEquipment.com.
Kubota. It's the only orange I'll ever love.
107.5 The Game traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
We do have two accidents to let you know about. Irmo Drive at Doverside and I-26 eastbound there at I-77. Right there in that connection and M16. An accident there. So be careful out there this morning if you would. Going to continue heating up. 96 for a high today. 95 tomorrow. Might be a late storm coming in. And on Friday, a couple isolated storms. And looking for a high of 90. But we'll enjoy kind of milder temperatures this morning. A little bit overcast. And it is 73 right now on the early game.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Eight zero 404 how you can weigh in this morning if you want to do so. Up and Adam this morning as we get you going. Don't get going too much. Don't be like Todd, who's predicting Alabama 49, Texas 17. Gotta feel Texas might go in there and take them down. And Todd's confidence a little misplaced here at 6:35 on a Wednesday morning. But hopefully his team, that's the big game of the weekend. Game day will be there. A chance for Steve Sarkisian to announce his presence to the SEC 1 year before he arrived. So a huge opportunity for Texas. We'll talk more about that coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. We'll also talk more about it as we get closer to it. 803-404-6100. Again, let me ask you this, Chris. A couple people weighing in because I don't know if I believe this theory real quick before we get to the offensive line. Chris saying, I get injuries happen. What I don't get is how a Division I college football roster gets to the point where your backup QB is more athletic than other backup receivers and getting run in games. And that's referring to Luke Doty. But we've always known Luke Doty was a really good athlete. Like, he's one of the best athletes on the team, right? Like if you're an athlete, you can go out and play other positions. Are you with me on that?
I understand that. Yeah, I think he is a better athlete. I think what the person or the texter is saying is that we've heard about all of these folks on the quote unquote depth charts all preseason, and then we didn't see any, i.e. Eddie Lewis, Elijah Caldwell, these guys who were making noise in the spring, and they told us that they were doing all these things, and then when it came time to play some of these players, we didn't see them. So it's not denying that Lou Doty is a supreme athlete. It's not any of those things. It's just that we hadn't heard that was a possibility throughout the preseason.
Just to give you a breakdown, back to what you said, Xavier Legette played 57 snaps. Obviously, we heard about him. Omega Blake had played 53. We heard a lot about him. Amarion Brown played 41. That was your three leading snap getters. The fourth is indeed Luke Doty at 28. Antoine Wells played 19. Nick Harbour got in for 10 snaps, and Peyton Mangrum played 8. So, maybe the one out of that. I know Landon Sampson is one that people have said, hey, this guy was kind of thought. I'll admit Landon Sampson was a guy that I thought might be in the rotation a little bit more at this point going into his sophomore year. But Preston, sometimes, surprisingly, I think J.C. Sherbert kind of said this, it takes time for guys to develop at the college level.
Yeah, and that's why I don't get that caught up into the recruiting hype, because who you were in high school is not necessarily who you're going to be in college, and it does take time to develop. Everybody's on a different timeline. So does that mean that he's not one of the players that's able to contribute now? Yes, I do think that's what that means, because we would have seen it. Does that mean he won't be able to contribute in his future? I don't know. He's obviously, there's a development process, and hopefully he and others are going through that. So the idea of who we thought he was going to be because he was doing this in high school and who he is now, those two ideas aren't compatible.
By the way, if your name is Chris, from now on, start adding like something to it. Because I got another Chris.
Chris.
We got a lot of Chris's that like to text, and another Chris, totally different than the one I just read, said Doty is just a straight up football player. Use him where you can. And
I agree. I mean, there's no need in, especially with the insurance policy of Lenora Sellers behind him.
Right.
If Luke Doty was your only backup quarterback and there was no hope after that, then maybe you put him in bubble wrap and don't play him. But obviously, you don't want injuries to happen. But since you have a little bit of an insurance policy behind him, and if he's better than the other athletes that would be there, you need to put your best 11 on the field.
803-404-6100. The bigger question will be getting your best athletes on the field at the offensive line position. Shane Beamer talked about that yesterday. Here's what Shane Beamer had to say about the offensive line.
I'd say it's a little bit of everything, David. Certainly with Kaysen's injury, that forces you to change some things schematically. With Marquis Anderson still being out, or not schematically, personnel-wise, with Marquis being out, that change forces you to, change some things. And it's been tough because it's been hard continuity-wise just to get a solid five. Now we're rotating guys around and mixing and matching because of that to develop depth, and have been all preseason. But, Kaysen was a guy that was hurt at the beginning of preseason, and then he practiced the last couple weeks or whatever, and then now he's hurt again. So it's just tough trying to build continuity across the five, and that part's been tough. Schematically, I think after a game, you have a better idea of who you are and maybe where you may struggle, some things you do well that you see after playing a quality opponent like we did, that you adjust some things schematically, add, tweak, take out, whatever it might be. But then certainly you look at personnel and getting your best five on the field. And I know Nick and Brashawn were in here earlier, and they were talking a lot about technique, and that's true. It's true. I mean, give North Carolina credit. Like, they've got a really good defensive line. And people can look at their stats last year, like that defensive line. A lot of those guys could have gone anywhere in the country that are playing on the defensive line for them. We recruited a lot of them, and they've got good players, and we got good players. We didn't play with great technique the other night. What they told you is true. We have to be better technique-wise. We have to be better fundamental-wise, offensively, all across the board. There's no question about it. But I know what kind of players on that offensive line, veteran guys and younger guys as well.
And that'll be the thing again for North Carolina. Like, yeah, the defensive line did look really good last week. And maybe they are going to be one of the better defensive lines, not just in the ACC, but maybe in the country. Maybe they are.
That's what we hope.
That's what we hope. Yes.
That's what we hope. That's the best case scenario for us, is that we just ran into a buzzsaw and somehow they snuck Lawrence Taylor into that. Lawrence Taylor, Julius Peppers reincarnated, and that's who North
Robert
Carolina
Quinn, yeah,
they just lined them all up. Maybe that's who they were. I don't know. That's what I hope. My worst fear is that we see that maybe North Carolina's not very good, and they're actually a very average defensive line throughout the course of the year. We don't know who they exactly are or will they be. They look like world beaters against us. I'm sure they have some confidence moving forward. But I do know this. No disrespect to Furman. I understand that they're number 6 FCS, but they will not be those dudes who will be walking into this stadium wearing red in 13 days, or whatever that is possible.
Oh, we'll see. Here's Shane Beamer yesterday improving on the offensive line.
Take the shots, but we got good players on the offensive line. I would love to say this Saturday, but I know we got to stay healthy, and right now it's just a banged up group with, when you count Marquis, when he's healthy, it's essentially 3 true freshmen in your 2 deep on the offensive line.
We've had one game. Why are we banged up?
Opinion, Gene. The farther you are away from the ball, it's easier to play as a true freshman. When you're a true freshman right out of high school, you're blocking 300-pound, really talented men on opposing defensive lines like you face at this level of football in this league. It's tough. It really is. But we've got good players. I was in there with the offensive staff before I walked in here, and we were talking about it. I mean, just watching Tree today in practice and watching Trevon today in practice, those guys, they are getting better. And we told our team on Sunday, right, and I've used this expression with you guys before, it is a race to improve, to your point. Like, we don't have spring practice in the summer and preseason camp like it's here, guys. So make sure that you're doing everything in your power, mentally and physically, when you're in
5.
when you're outside this building, to get better, because we need you now.
803-404-6100. We'll let Preston address that when we come back. And thoughts on, I don't know, if you just throw them out there, there's good and bad, right? Of just saying, all right, young guys who are highly thought of, let's give you a chance. We'll let you do that. And Riley Leonard, Duke quarterback, apparently beating Clemson, not good enough for one professor at Duke. Duke, not like North Carolina. There is classwork to be had. We'll let you hear more about that as we roll along. You're listening to the Early Game.
Here's what's coming up on the game.
Carolina Calls with Shane Beamer. Get started this Thursday at 6 p.m.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
This is former assigned with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. After Duke, Riley Leonard helped engineer the Blue Devils' monumental upset of Clemson. He sent a video message begging Professor Taylor for a homework extension. Riley, great game last night. Congratulations. The professor replied, adding, the linemen in the class prepared ahead of time, so why didn't the quarterback? No way, no extension. It's Duke, Riley, not Alabama. A former assigned.
I
didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just want to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
This year's Carolina and Clemson Jackpot $5 scratch-off tickets give you a chance to win up to $200,000, whether you're a Gamecock or a Tiger. It's Palmetto Series time, so show your school spirit, feel that team pride, and get your tickets for a chance to win up to $200,000. As you know, in this state, winning the Palmetto Series does matter that much. See SCEducationLottery.com for odds and details. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause thousands of dollars in damage to your home's foundation. Canty Foundation can replace your gutters and save you money.
Canty installed gutter cider.
Call us today for your free inspection.
Canty can fix it.
Having a reliable gutter system is essential to protecting your home's interior and exterior. Heavy rain can unleash gallons of water onto your home, and poorly maintained or leaky gutters could lead to roofing, siding, and water damage that is expensive to repair or replace. Online at candygutters.com.
Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers. You can always find people who are helping. Thank you to all the first responders who put their lives in danger to help us when my brothers and sisters need them. We look out for the helpers because they look out for us.
Help us help first responders in your community today. Go to firstrcf.org to learn more.
Hi, I'm Kathy Bates. People sometimes ask what I've learned in my 2-time battle with cancer. One is that with the right treatment, you can beat it. 2 is that it's not just cancer you're battling. You also need to anticipate LE, lymphedema, a disease that can leave those who undergo cancer treatment with a lifetime of swelling and pain. If you're facing a cancer diagnosis, discuss lymphedema with your doctor. With knowledge and action, we can learn and live. Learn more at lymphaticnetwork.org.
So you guys are staying on the O-line train right now?
With Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Chen Jensen.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
David on our live stream, he asked, I think, a valid question, Preston, coming off of the North Carolina game. And as we talk about improvement, now I'm not going to pretend that I know a great deal about Furman's defensive line, but he asks over-under. Spencer gets sacked 3 times against Furman.
Ooh, I'd said that. I'd set it.
I think it's a good number. I think David.
It's a really strong number. I'd set it at a slight over.
You take the over?
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I don't know much about Furman's D-line specifically, but what I do know is when you have these smaller FCS teams that come into play these larger teams, you heard it a lot with Georgia State last year. There's gonna be a lot of slanting, a lot of moving, and so this is already a game where people could get frustrated by the offensive linemen not being able to block these guys because they're not just gonna be standing there. They're gonna be moving around. They're gonna be darting, slaying, stunning. There's already potential for them to look bad against these types of teams. So I may put it at 4. That was a great number, though.
Yeah, we'll see. So that brings us back to you talking. Are you hearing Shane Beamer saying, "Get your shots in now," with improvement on the offensive line, and you had it written down for our rundown?
Yeah, I was just like, all right, man. It's not about getting our shots in. We We saw what we saw. Nobody on the offensive line graded above 70 based on Pro Football Focus. Nobody played well. That's not getting in our shots. That's stating in facts. It's not being unfair to them. It's not stating nothing that we didn't see. If anything, I think people are being very, very much understanding of what this line is. So just the idea of getting in your shots is not getting in your shots. It is being 100% observant of what we all saw. If they do better, I'm sure people will be glad to acknowledge that the offensive line is doing better. So I just don't like that idea of get your shots in now. What shots are we getting in? They were bad. That's not a shot. That's a fact. Nick Gargiulo said it in his own press conference. Rashawn Lee said it they said they were embarrassed. So what shot is that? It's not a shot.
We will learn more this week, right? This week. I mean, you go out again. Nobody's going to praise you. Nobody's going to praise the offensive line if they go out. Let's just hypothetically say I'm not predicting this. I'm not trying to say it'll happen at all. But let's just hypothetically say they run for 175, 200 yards as a team. Nobody's going to come in here when you do it against Furman on Monday and go, okay, they're back. That offensive line, whoo, that's yes. Like this opponent doesn't equal going out and doing something big like that and then earning a bunch of praise, right?
It won't get it should not get a bunch of praise, but if everybody's watching the game, we could see if they're better at fundamentals and technique. We can talk about them owning their own, handling business the way they're supposed to. That's fine that they do what they're supposed to do and they can move forward. You put one game on top of the other.
803-404-6100. I tell you what, Jen, we'll take a phone call in just a second, but let's play this clip. It's 17, because I see where this is going, and let's play this clip, and then we'll get to Matthew on the phone line. There's a discussion out there about Freddie Kitchens being on the staff here at South Carolina last year and now going to North Carolina. Here is Shane Beamer talking about tipping plays that's been discussed a little bit.
Sounds great when guys are able to say that after the game, and you're right. When you have to pass and you're struggling to run the ball, you're thinking pass. We self-scout every game. We talk to, opposing coaches. If we're playing a team that we don't play anytime again in the future, we always do that as well. There were some things last year with Spencer that we felt like teams were picking up on tendency-wise, run pass, that we got corrected. We went back and looked at that. That wasn't an issue. I think if anything, it's just making sure we don't tip anything off with, stances and things like that. But that's universal, the Pop Warner team down the street is telling their guys, hey, if they're they're in a 3-point stance and they're really heavy on their hand, it's probably run because they're firing off the ball. And if his hand's barely touching the ground, it's probably pass. Or 2-point stance, 3-point stance. You hear that all the time. So nothing that we're really overreacting to. I think you nailed it when you have to throw the football like we did on Saturday night because you're behind and you're struggling to run the ball. I think everybody in the stadium knew that it's going to be a lot of passes.
Let's get out to the love show. That's Shane Beamer yesterday talking about, and again, he didn't specifically name him in that portion, but a lot of discussion about if Freddie Kitchens knew something and was able to alert Gene Chizik about things that happened last year. Matthew, how you doing this morning? What's on your mind? You heard that clip. I know you wanted to talk about Freddie Kitchens. What's on your mind?
Right, that's what I was going to ask. Preston, I just want to see, I know he left in February, but Guy Walters was there, and Freddie Kitchens was with the South Carolina for a while, so he knows some of the tendencies, and I just want to see from a defensive point, do you think that that Freddie Kitchens might have been able to help North Carolina some, at least on some of the tendencies, because some of the defensive guys said they were keying off on certain things, so I wanted to see if you thought maybe that came from, possibly from Guy Walters. From Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah, appreciate you listening. Appreciate your question. Okay, first and foremost, that is not why they had 9 sacks. Not because of the tipping. They had 9 sacks because they were dominated. But where Freddie Kitchens might have been able to help is being able to point out some tendencies like a poker player would tell, right? He may be able to say, working with Spencer for a whole year, I know that when Spencer wipes his hand on his right leg, that means he's getting ready to throw an out route. There's maybe some very slight tendency that he may have been able to point to, or he could have said, when the carry on when the carry-on gets in the stance like this, that's when he knows his action is coming through. Not necessarily plays, but there might have been some tells that each player individually has because we all have them. And as a coach, you sort of know them. So maybe there was something along those lines. But as far as plays specific, I think Shane did a great job of illustrating, like, nah, it's third down. We all know what's going on.
Anything else, Matthew?
Appreciate it, thanks.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, 803-404-6100. Look, if it continues to be a problem, we know it wasn't Freddie Kitchens, right? Like,
40.
I highly doubt Freddie Kitchens this week has been on the phone with Furman going, here's what you're looking for. Let me, Mac Brown's screaming down the hall, Freddie, we need you to, tight end's got to be coached. Freddie's like, hold on, I'm on the phone with Furman.
I got something for you.
I'll be out to practice in a little while, Mac. You go handle tight ends. I'll be out there in a little while. So, yeah, we'll continue to talk about that. We'll get back in. You do need to hear Riley Leonard, Duke quarterback. Well, they take academics serious at Duke, apparently. And also Preston's got some more stuff, Brian Kelly as well. It's the early game this morning, the Wednesday morning edition.
Preston here for Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. Cracked windshields, no problem. They'll come to you and give you a free quote for any job. They'll come out to your location and then replace it for you, usually for free, and they'll work directly with your insurance to take away the headache. So if you're looking to increase the value of your home with new windows and mirrors, Absolute Glass will come out and take care of all of that for you. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. I say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studios. This is 1075 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Sponsored by Molina Healthcare. Feel better with Molina Healthcare.
When it comes to your health, two experts are better than one. That's why Molina Healthcare partners with Sandhills Medical Foundation, so you get the benefits you need to stay healthy and care from providers you trust. Choose Molina. Learn more today at meetmolinasouthcarolina.com.
Sponsored by Jeff Martin Auctioneers. Jeff Martin Auctioneers presents the D&J Machinery and Rigging Retirement Auction on Thursday, September 7th in Lexington, featuring cranes, lifting equipment, trucks, trailers, real estate, and more. Bid your way live on-site or online at jeffmartinauctioneers.com. Experience the difference. License 4283.
Hello and welcome to the Kroger Show. At Kroger, everyone wins when it comes to saving big. Because when you order online through the Kroger app, you get the same great prices, deals, and rewards on pickup or delivery that you do in-store, with no hidden fees or markups. So no matter how you shop, you'll always save big at Kroger. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Right now, select varieties of Ragu pasta sauce and private selection pasta are on sale for only $1.29 each with your card and digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Don't miss Zerust Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning's incredible fall sale. Call now and mention me, Bill Gunner, at 1075 The Game to get 3 rooms cleaned for $129. Schedule online at ZerustColumbia.com.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time, as in spaghetti sandwiches for dinner. They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
1075 The Game traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
Irmo Drive at Doverside, we do still have a report of an accident there. Also, I-26 eastbound at I-77. Forecast, it's going to be warm because we have Labor Day. Doesn't mean summer's gone quite yet. 96 for our high today. 95 tomorrow with maybe a late storm coming in. Could be a couple isolated storms on Friday for a high of 90. Maybe some evening storms on Saturday, 86 for the high. Right now, though, 72 on the early game.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
Hey, this is Michi Johnson here, South Carolina point guard, and you're listening to 107.5 The Game, home of the Gamecocks.
A Cumulus media station.
The early game.
Broadcasting live
from
6:52
on
on a Saturday.
This is 107.5 The Game.
Discover Herndon certified.
So, hey, real quick, while Bill's looking at the calendar, did you see that Aaliyah Boston was named WNBA Eastern Conference Player of the Week?
Did not.
Former Gamecocks Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen.
Kind of
Of
impressive.
course, right now I couldn't tell you what day it is with a calendar in front of me. I've said Tuesday. I just said Saturday.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
The theme of this show. I don't know.
107.5 The Game.
It's 7 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen, as we get you up and get you going. Welcome in Florence, 100.5 The Game. Welcome in Myrtle Beach, 100.3 The Game. Coming up this hour, Carrie Tharp will be joining us. Let me look at my sheet here. We got a competition. I lead by a point in our Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge. I got 95 points. Carrie and Preston have both cut to within 1 point at 94. And even Reggie has made a run, Jen and Preston, that might be unprecedented. I mean, I was writing Reggie Anderson off. But I think we know what he did this time. Reggie, by the way, picked 1, 2, 3. Reggie has picked winners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 winners in the last 7 races. But I say that you do know what Reggie started doing, right?
No, what do you?
Started letting his son pick. It was going.
He did that for one race.
I beg to differ on that.
Check the trends.
Yeah, Reggie's son is without a doubt taken. Reggie's son is whipping us all.
I have the Brian Kelly ready.
Right now.
Reggie is probably lining up a trip to Vegas for he and his son, and he's just going to carry his son into the sports book and be like, all right, son, pick who you want. Dad will cover the money. Then if you lose, I'll take it out of your savings. So I can see him doing that. We'll catch up with Carrie Tharp coming up this hour. Just 2 races left. 2 races left, right, Jim? Kansas and Bristol. Is that right?
Oh, you're talking about as far as the playoffs are concerned?
Yeah.
Yeah, before we get to the next round.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So what my sheet says. So we still got time, but it's narrowed down. A very, very, very narrow race now. So we'll catch up with him. Brian Edwards of Vegas Insider. We'll see if he responds to my text message to confirm he is ready to go in the 8 o'clock hour. Preston, sometimes big upsets doesn't mean you get out of doing your homework. And this is Riley Leonard talking about a homework extension that he wanted to have. At Duke, they're not like North Carolina. They take academics a little seriously. Here's what Riley Leonard had to say after Monday night.
Professor Taylor, if you're seeing this, please let me turn in my homework late because it's due tonight. I think at 12, so it may already be 12.
Hey, Riley, great game last night, man. It was so exciting. Congratulations to you and all your teammates. But, you know, Wesley Williams and the other linemen who were in the class, they said they prepared ahead and did it ahead of time, so why didn't the quarterback? So no way, man. No extension.
What an entry into my world of the all-academic conference. Duke is being the leader of my all-academic conference. Solid put down by the professor. A-plus execution. Great performance. I loved it. But, hey, other people have already done it. You, sir, no suit for you. You don't get it.
Did you ever, not maybe not like that, but did you ever have, or do you remember any players, teammates that had a situation like that? Like, you beat, obviously, your redshirt freshman year, you beat New Mexico State. Everybody wants to celebrate at night, carried into Sunday a little bit. Of course, I guess maybe that might have been Labor Day weekend, so no class on Monday. I guess maybe the following week beat Georgia. How about maybe your freshman year? Y'all beat Georgia over there in Athens. You got to travel back, maybe do some partying, hanging out. Anything we remember like that?
The whole issue with this is there was a miscommunication between teammates here. We're supposed to be working together, and if one fails, we all fail. Or if one turns it in, we all turn it in. Those linemen, being the good stand-up guys that they usually are, they're getting their work done, going to class, doing the assignments on time. Nobody communicated that to Riley, who's a quarterback. He's probably watching film. He's got to take over this whole thing. And so that's where the breakdown was. They didn't communicate, or they all needed to do this together. Hey, all three of us go to the professor. We all talk to the professor. It's just like when you had your siblings, like, hey, listen, if we both go talk to mom and dad, maybe we have a chance. But you can't send one person out there by himself. Then he tried to do it over social media.
Yeah.
He thought he was being slick. Like, oh, we're coming off a victory. We're just going to go out here. I'm going to put something cute on TikTok, and it's going to go viral. Came back to bite you, Robbie.
Speaking of, I guess, trying to take advantage of a big victory, Duke yesterday in the AP Top 25. Duke making an appearance.
They should.
Number 21.
Now, let me get this correct. They're number 21. Where is Clemson?
25.
Okay, all right.
Clemson was the only team in the top 25. Dropped from 9 to number 25 yesterday. The new AP Top 25 coming out. Your top 5. See if you agree with this. I think we did something similar like this yesterday. Georgia at 1, Michigan at 2. No change there. Alabama moves up a spot to 3. Florida State moves up a couple spots. Moves up 4 spots to number 4. Ohio State wins the game. This is just us being reactionary. Maybe they'll play their best game, as you said, season opener, trying to learn some things. Ohio State drops 2 spots to number 5.
All's fair. I guess we don't know Alabama. We didn't learn very much about them except who their starting quarterback was.
Right.
So we did learn that. I think the team that we learned the most about was Florida State, and I believe they should have been rewarded for that by being bumped up to 3.
Okay. LSU, by the way, who was at number 5, drops all the way to number 9, number 14. I forgot. They're the other team in the top 25 who has a loss. One other team that you might be interested in, number 22, right behind number 21 Duke. Number 22. Should we just call them the Coach Primes?
Well, it's interesting because they're number what?
22.
Well, apparently Dion may have been based this the AP poll. Maybe they're 21 in the coaches poll because I saw something on a viral situation where Dion was conspicuously doing some rowing in his office, and somebody said, "Hey, Coach Prime, you're number 21," and Dion goes, "Oh man, that must be like a signal from God because I wore number 21, and we're number 21 now. It's just great things just keep happening to me, man. God is so good." But apparently, it's only in one poll.
No, it wasn't even in that coaches poll. I don't know. We might have had a misinformed staffer. The coaches poll has Colorado at 25, Duke at 24, Clemson's at 21 in the coaches poll that came out. So, yeah.
Guess that number didn't quite mean as special as he thought it
Little
was.
confusion there from the staffer and Dion. The video got away from him with that.
Can you see him wanting to change the name of the team to the Primes or the
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, Colorado's all in because if you saw during the game, you know how the universities have some branding opportunities during the game, and it's like, oh yeah, I know that spot. That's the horseshoe.
Yeah.
Well, Colorado is like you can get a prime education. This is the number prime real estate.
Yeah, I saw. Yes, I know what you're talking about. The president, maybe, or whatever.
I was like, really?
Wow.
We're really here.
I did wonder
All
this.
in.
I did wonder this though, like because I forget. Oh, it was I think an almond commercial. I think it was an almond. Like Dion's doing an almond commercial. Do you want to go to a school where it's more likely your head coach gets the NIL deal than you are? Like,
you're not battling your quarterback or your wide receiver or, defensive back. You're battling your head coach, who is a national commodity.
Well, and if it's not the head coach, you know who else is going to be? His sons, who happen to be the quarterback and the free safety. So
Correct.
Let's see how these NIL deals
I
are
don't.
gonna shuffle through.
I still feel like Saturday, Shiloh Sanders is the runt of the family.
Well, that's just
because again, if you called, I think we mentioned this Monday in the post game interview. You've got Shador standing there and Travis Hunter, and DM goes, "This is my son, and this is my other son," and I'm like looking at T. I was like, "It looks like Travis Hunter. It's not Shiloh's son." Shiloh Sanders is just in the back, like, "Hey, pops, remember who I am?" Like, I think I had a pretty good game on Saturday. I kind of helped a little bit.
Yeah, but Colorado was definitely all of it. Prime real estate in the mountains. Get them in prime education. Okay.
Yeah. We'll get your opinion later on with Deion Sanders and Colorado. Do you believe? By the way, just for the record, I don't know if you want to throw him on your list. Shiloh Sanders maybe should be on the transfer portal list.
I'm trying to figure out how long the extent
Good
relevance
point.
is,
Good
because
point.
he's been gone for a few years now. Though we do remember him, we might have to put him on there.
I only say this because he did lead the team. He did. Yeah, well, tied. Marvin Ham II was also tied with him, but Shiloh had 9 solo tackles. He was good. I think he could have been a really good player here. I think he actually really could have been a very good player for South Carolina. I think he's going to be a good player, but apparently he did something at Jackson State that put him in the doghouse early on. Or maybe he's just not Travis Hunter and Shador. I don't know, but Shiloh Sanders was another really good player. 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in. We will get into a few more things this morning as we roll along, get back into some things Shane Beamer and the players said, such as Nick Gargiulo talking about being disappointed. We'll let you hear from some of the players when we come back. It's the early game. It's the early game.
Here's what's coming up on the game.
Catch the Love Chevy High School Football Show with Tommy Moody, Justin Hall, and Ed Bird this Friday at 9 p.m.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Beer Keller Brewing Company, Columbia's original riverfront beer garden and brewery, is now open. Their new location on Columbia's riverfront is an ideal spot for all your future soccer and football tailgates. Games will be shown in both their indoor beer hall as well as their indoor-outdoor beer garden. Grab a beer, bratwurst, or schnitzel from their self-service counters while cheering on your favorite team. Beer Keller is located right off I-26. Take UG to Taylor to Canalside Street, then follow the flags. Come enjoy Beer Keller's laid-back location right on the river. Gross!
Did you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? I'm Dr. Mark Bentley with Columbia Secret to Weight Loss. I know the secret. Our unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd like to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged or boxed meals, no surgery, and no hypnosis, call my office now at 803-824-3210.
Columbia's Secret for Weight Loss changed my life. I've lost over 50 pounds, and now I have metabolic flexibility. To me, this program is more than just about fat loss. It's about a lifestyle. Throughout this program, the guidance and accountability help create a pathway to a healthier, better me.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month. It's a half a pound to a pound per day. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 803-824-3210. That's 803-824-3210. Or ColumbiaSecretForWeightLoss.com.
After being almost $500,000 in tax debt, I was listening to the radio one day and heard an ad for John Exton Law Firm. So I gave him a call and met with him, and he gave me the confidence to trust him after the reason behind my tax problems anyways was trusting someone I probably should have never trusted. He did everything he said he was going to do, and then some. His staff at the office were great, very knowledgeable. With John's help, I have no tax debt now, and I was able to have a family that otherwise I would have never been able to have.
It's great to know we have changed people's lives for the better. Hi, this is local attorney John Exton with the Exton Law Firm. For over a decade, our office has been dedicated to helping hardworking individuals and businesses solve tax problems for good. So if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call our office today at 771-9800 or go to ExtonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Let's get your tax problem solved for good. Call today. We'll be glad you
South
did.
Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring correctional officers, nurses, food services, facilities maintenance, mental health professionals, law enforcement officers, teachers, and more statewide. There are sign-on bonuses for officers, food services, nurses, and law enforcement officers. South Carolina Department of Corrections has great employee benefits like 6 weeks of PTO accrued yearly and police officer retirement. Start a rewarding new career today. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
I am here with the new sponsor of 1075 The Game, Jason Shannon with the Cook and Boardman Group, the nation's leading supplier and largest inventory of architectural and commercial doors, frames, and door hardware. Jason, I know you have some exciting news to share.
Thanks, Bill. We are very excited to announce the opening of our new storefront right here in the Midlands. We now have a full-service counter open Monday through Friday starting at 7 a.m. We are located at 101 Corporate Boulevard in West Columbia, which is just off of Chris Drive, behind Man's Tool Annex Supply. Our experienced team is ready to help you with a selection of high-quality, competitively priced commercial wood and metal doors and hardware, commercial welded and knockdown metal frames, fire-rated doors, access control systems, lock sets, and more. For more information, call us at 803-739-0642. That's 803-739-0642.
The Early Game Show will be broadcasting live from Cook and Boardman for their open house event on Tuesday, September 12th. Come see us and meet the Cook and Boardman team. There'll be free food, giveaways, and door prizes. That's Tuesday, September 12th, starting at 7 a.m. See you there.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Oh, I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzz warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Does this feel better?
Did you know that more than 90% of poisonings happen at home? Look closely and you will find poison risks hidden in plain sight inside every house. But there are actions you can take to poison-proof your home, like keeping household cleaners locked up high and away from children, properly labeling and securing medicines and supplements, and installing carbon monoxide detectors in your bedrooms and furnaces. Visit poisonhelp.hrsa.gov to learn more, or call your local poison center at 1-800-222-1222, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
1075 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
And we're working a couple accidents out there. I-26 eastbound at I-77. Still slow down there. Also Longwood Road at Bluff Road. That's Longwood at Bluff. And Irma Drive at Doverside. An accident there that's in the freeway. 96 for the high today. 95 tomorrow with a late storm. I see some isolated storms on Friday and a high of 90 degrees. And a couple afternoon storms over the weekend. It's 75 now.
The Early Game with Bill Gunter
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
and Jen Jensen, your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 1075 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Eight 803-404-6100. We'll get back into that Deion Sanders take coming up in the next hour because Preston's got a question. Do you believe now? Because there were people. Pat McAfee, much like Darius Rucker, Pat McAfee picked Colorado to win that game. Darius Rucker picked Duke to beat Clemson.
Yeah, but that's the perfect example of being that guy. Because, yes, no problem. Yes, Pat McAfee, you could be the wildly crazy guy and pick Prime, and then it wouldn't happen. You could say, oh, I told you so. Get out
Well,
of here.
no, Pat McAfee hedged his bet very strongly
Yes.
by saying they could get beat by 50.
But I'm gonna go.
I'm
down
a professional at knowing how to do that.
Exactly. So that's one. And then Darius, come on, who else was he going? Was he really going
Right.
to pick? So again, both of them can say they did it, but we know exactly.
And you're accustomed to that guy.
Yeah, man. And I love you. Shout out to my brother. You're my guy, my big brother. But you know who you are because he did pick Duke. I have it in text form, and he let me know that he picked Duke. But my brother is the guy who always picks the upset team. And when the upset doesn't happen, I don't hear from him. I don't hear anything. It's just like, oh well, nothing about it. But when he does nail 1 out of every 10, let's say, because he picks one every week,
Right.
I'm just telling you, watch out for whoever. And then it happens, he lets me know for sure.
You gotta start putting a $10 bet on these upset picks.
Listen, I'm not saying he doesn't pick them. I'm just saying that it's like when you're playing basketball and you call bank shot or something, and then it happens. If you call it every time, hey, I called it.
It's kind of, I told you yesterday, it's kind of like if you just call for snow 365 days a year. One day, not necessarily every year, but one day you're going to be right. And you'll be like, I've been telling y'all it's going to snow.
He's also a Bulldog fan, and I had to joke. I told him straight up last night. I said, cut the crap, man. Because he's like, I don't know, man. I just don't feel very good about the team this year. I'm like, man, get out of here. What are you talking about? I don't want to hear it. You're 2-time national champions. He's all like, Stetson Bennett's really good. I don't know if he's going to be able to replace. Get out of here. So he's two annoying people at once. Mr. Downplay my great team and also pick every upset guy. I love you, though, Corey.
Good call, though. It's a good call. And he's the guy that Georgia will be talking about after a third national championship. We're like, they didn't believe in us. Nobody thought we'd be here.
Nobody believed in us. Nobody believed in us. Exactly.
803-404-6100, how you can weigh in. Let's let you listen. This is Nick Gargiulo yesterday talking about being disappointed with the offensive line. And again, it wasn't a good performance, but here's one of the offensive line actually talking about it.
We played poorly. I know we're disappointed in our performance in the room, but it looked like we weren't good with technique. We weren't good with fundamentals. We weren't good with things we prepared for, and it was on display.
To the point.
Very accurate. Very accurate. Much respect to you for getting up there and being honest with us and saying confirming what we all saw.
Is that a veteran move to say that? Can younger players buy into that? Because there is experience on this offensive line. There's not experience at South Carolina, which I don't know how big of a difference that is. There's not experience in the SEC, which is a massive difference.
Yes.
But this is a veteran guy who I guess is, from the sound there, not afraid to own it. Say, yeah, we stunk.
Well, there's a big difference between, the cliche, my bad, we're going to get better, we're going to work harder, and being very specific and saying, no, we played poor, and this is where we broke down. Now, he did say that they need to improve on their techniques and their fundamentals. My only issue with that is when you get into a game, the first thing that goes is your technique and fundamentals because you're playing in scramble mode. And so they may be able to keep up with some of those techniques and fundamentals against Furman because more than likely they'll be stronger and faster and bigger than those guys. But when they get in, but your techniques and fundamentals really only help you when you're in a physical deficit, which they will be against Georgia. And you can make up for that deficit with fundamentals and techniques, but if they're not there, it's going to be difficult.
It's interesting when you hear all of this because when a guy like Luke Doty weighs in and starts talking about the offensive line as well. I mean, it's a team thing. Like the whole team looks at it, right? The whole team sees it. The whole team is going, yes, you guys struggled. The offensive line knows the whole team sees it. But this is Luke Doty talking about the offensive line issues as well yesterday during the press conference. Jen?
No, bottom line, we just got to play better. That's really what it comes down to. And it's not just the offensive line, it's everybody in the building. At all positions. coaches included. We're all in this thing together. It's not just the blame doesn't just fall on one group, one person. It falls on everybody. We didn't get the job done Saturday, and that's, we came in yesterday, we watched film, we fixed the stuff that we got to get fixed. We'll continue to do that throughout this week in preparation for Furman, but we're not focused on what happened on Saturday anymore. We're turning our heads to the next game, and that's Furman
5.
So we'll like I said, continue to get better each day and come out strong.
Well, for as much as Nick was very honest and accurate, Luke's been around the program for a while. He's very fluent in coach speak.
I was gonna say.
He's very fluent. He's learned under the master Will Muschamp. He's taken some of Shane Beamer's game. He's merged them into a compilation.
So you're saying he will be a fantastic
Luke has a future in front of him
as a coach.
He did the real slighted technique that we like to do, where it's like, well, it's not the offensive line, it's all of us and everybody, coaches included. And we all have to blame. There's a little bit of blame to go. But here's the problem: when there's a little bit to go around, it means nobody actually takes the blame. There is a specific problem, and somebody has to take that. And the specific problem in this game was the offensive line. It wasn't everybody. It was a specific spot where we got to put this blame.
803-404-6100. We'll get back into this.
A little bit of blame there. Listen, wherever you go today, just put the blame on.
Yeah.
It's not me. It's the whole organization, the coaches, the bosses. We all got to take some blame.
If you messed up a big sale at your office, just go in there and go, it's me a little, but it's blame to go around. The people drawing up the whiteboards messed up. The people scheduling the appointment messed up. Boss has got to boss better. Yeah, it's a little bit on me, but there's also a lot to go around. We got to do it better as a team.
And we're going to get better.
Yeah,
every day.
803-404-6100. Carrie Tharp up next. It's the Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge.
Here's what's coming up on the game.
Take a trip into the vault with Tommy Moody. Wednesday and Friday evenings at 6 p.m.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Sponsored by Jeff Martin Auctioneers. Jeff Martin Auctioneers presents the D&J Machinery and Rigging Retirement Auction on Thursday, September 7th in Lexington, featuring cranes, lifting equipment, trucks, trailers, real estate, and more. Bid your way live on site or online at jeffmartinauctioneers.com. Experience the difference. License 4283.
Preston Thorne here for the Red Shirt Guys Roofing, where they believe roofing is a craft, not a commodity. They're committed to staying up to date on the latest.
And I thought we had Carrie at 7:40. That's what I had him set up for.
The Red Shirt Guys do the right thing on and off the roof, and they will be here long after the job is complete. Residential or commercial, choose the Red Shirt Guys Roofing. Request a free quote online or call them 243-3968. The Red Shirt Guys.
Oh, well, yeah, no, sorry. I put it on the top of the sheet for 7:40, but I just saw your run sheet. It said 7:30.
Sure it is. That's why we shortened the time from harvest to home for our tasty tomatoes, strawberries, and salads. So no matter how you shop, you have more time with your fresh produce. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save with summer vegetable deals. Right now, Purdue boneless chicken breasts are buy one, get one free with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? I'm Dr. Mark Bentley with Columbia Secret to Weight Loss. I know the secret. Our unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd like to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged or boxed meals, no surgery, and no hypnosis, call my office now at 803-824-3210.
Columbia's secret for weight loss changed my life. I've lost over 50 pounds. Not only did I lose fat, I significantly lowered my A1C in making better choices that are sustainable. Throughout this program, the guidance and accountability help create a pathway to a healthier, better me.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month. It's a half a pound to a pound per day. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 803-824-3210. That's 803-824-3210. Or ColumbiaSecretForWeightLoss.com.
There's no better place to be on a fall Saturday than at Williams-Brice Stadium. Secure your tickets today to catch a game this fall. Visit thegamecockclub.com for more information. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hosteller Brown. If you or a loved one are over 65 and haven't completed a long-term care planning consultation, now is the time. Did you know that if you aren't able to afford the high cost of skilled care, your assets can be rapidly depleted to only $2,000 unless you plan 5 years in advance? Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina. When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything. You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Oh, I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I love? A ride when it's time to head out. If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council. I love your car. Is this real, Lover?
Can you imagine efficiency and productivity at an all-time high?
Everyone is happier.
And everything is cleaner.
You no longer have to think about all the junk that's in your way.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
You're incredibly good at what you do.
We're good at what we do, too.
Why not outsource the cleanup to us?
Put us in the game, Coach. Put us in the game.
We're industrial strength magicians.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen. You want an exciting and fast-paced podcast based on one of the most popular segments in the history of The Rich Eisen Show? Well, you got it. Overreaction Monday, hosted by me, Rich Eisen, and my compadre, Chris Brockman. And every Monday, we're going to dive into the headlines from pro and college football and overreact. Are you ready, Chris Brockman? Yay or nay?
Yes, Rich. No holding back, buddy. I'm coming for you.
Absolutely what you need to hear. Overreaction Monday, every single, wait for it, Monday, wherever you listen.
Would you know what to do in a poison emergency? Would you know whom to call? Well, the answer is Poison Help. 1-800-222-1222. Poison Help is a 24/7 government hotline staffed by poison experts. It's free to call and available in over 100 languages. Every second counts in a poison emergency. Don't waste it wondering who to call. Save Poison Help in your phone today. 1-800-222-1222.
1075 The Game Traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
Big slowdown, Two Nuts Road between Coxbury and Smith Pond Road. That is closed. So best bet is to find an alternate route. Again, that's Two Nuts Road between Coxbury and Smith Pond Road. That is closed at this time. Longwood Road at Bluff Road, also an accident there. So be careful out there this morning. 96 for the high today, 95 tomorrow with some late storms coming in. Could see some isolated storms on Friday and looking for a high of 90. But the sun's peeking out right now. Fairly mild. It is 73 on the early game.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 1075 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
$7:33 on a Wednesday morning. Little mistake there on my part, but some of it has to go around. I didn't quite read Jen's text message. Preston put it at the top of our rundown sheet. Little mistake to go all the way around. Just an error.
Everybody.
Yeah,
Got to do better.
a little bit of Carrie Thorpe will be in the next segment. So we'll get better as a team. We'll get better. There's a lot to get better at all the way around. one of the things from the weekend, obviously we talked about Deion Sanders, their big win, LSU's big loss, and the way that got away from them. Florida State beating LSU wasn't a shock, right? It was the way it went down. And that game also got away from LSU very quickly there late in the third quarter, early in the fourth, and Jaheim Bell gets in a couple touchdowns in to kind of push that one further away. But Brian Kelly, you've got some audio you want to
Well, let me set this up. We've all been in the situation where maybe you're in a conversation with a significant other or a partner or maybe even a boss, anybody like that, and they tell you what you said, and then you're like, I didn't say that. And they're like, yeah, you absolutely said that. He's like, no, that's not what I said. Am I the only one? You've been there, everybody.
Yes,
We've all been
yes. I've tried to start recording conversations, just wearing a wire constantly.
Right, you want to make sure that you, because I know you said this. And I believe the term that the kids have come up with is gaslighting, where they try to tell you something that you know happened. Well, Brian Kelly is trying to successfully gaslight us as a college football nation because.
Well,
let's let the clip play.
Here's Brian Kelly after Sunday night's loss.
We're going to take 15 freshmen on this trip and 14 transfers. So nearly 40% of this travel roster are going to go overnight for the first time with LSU. So, and that's not a disclaimer of any kind. We're going to go beat the heck out of Florida State. But
well, Brian Kelly says very clearly, I did not say that we're going to go beat the heck out of Florida State. He says he didn't say that. He says, I think you all know me pretty carefully. I'm pretty careful with what I say. I've never been cavalier or disrespectful about an opponent. So if somebody wants to prop up a comment and inflate it into something that it's not, that's what social media is all about today.
What?
Did he say it or not?
I heard it.
Yeah, at the very end, they all cheered.
And they cheered, and he probably felt proud of himself. Like, yeah, here we go. But Brian Kelly says he did not say that. He categorically denies saying that.
This is the old Steve Spurrier. This is where Steve Spurrier gets every coach in trouble, right? Like this is Steve Spurrier syndrome, where back in the 90s, Spurrier could go to these booster meetings, right? When there was no, because now you go to one of these booster meetings, like I used to have to cover with the Big Spur, and the coach walks in, and you've got like the Big Spur and Gamecock Central and all the internet websites. You have a few television stations, and they do the interview before, and then they'll sit and they'll have the whatever the dinner that they're having, like over here that we went to at Seawells for the Lexington and Richland Gamecock Club, and you got the reporters there, right? And they're hanging out. That didn't happen in the 90s. So Steve Spurrier could go in there, and the only reason you knew about Free Shoes U was boosters coming out laughing. Yeah, that's Spurrier guy. But there's no audio of it. Spurrier could deny it if he wanted. He wouldn't do it. Spurrier even bragged about it. He could talk about how Auburn didn't color some books in the library, and that was a shame. But it wasn't captured, on it. So coaches still, they forget. I think they're like, they forget that they say things, and then they're like,
but this was on a podcast. This is on basically his call-in show.
I was gonna say this was
the call-in show.
This is like Beamer doing it at Backstreet's Grill, where did you hear? Play it? Can we play it one more time? You got it, Jim? We'll get it. We'll play it one more time if possible. We'll see if we can get to that. She's on the phone for a second because I want you to hear the end because you get the cheering. If you can play it one more time there, catch the cheering at the very end.
we're going to take 15 freshmen on this trip and 14 transfers. So nearly 40% of this travel roster are going to go overnight for the first time with LSU. So, and that's not a disclaimer of any kind. We're going to go beat the heck out of Florida State. But
yeah, LSU fan. Yeah, we are. Yeah. And what did he come back and say?
It is just not in my background or nature to make those kind of comments. I categorically deny. It's not something I would ever say.
The Cajun accent will get to you, won't it?
I don't understand. Like, he could just own it. Yeah, man, I thought we was going to do it. Didn't go that way. All right, move it on. Why did you have to try and make us? And then he pulls the old move of saying, well, social media today blows everything up out of context. No, we heard what you said. Now, if your job as a communicator is to get us to understand what you were trying to say, but we heard what you said, you didn't try and correct yourself when they started cheering. You just let it roll by. Why is it our fault for listening to what you said, taking what you said, and now that we're saying that you said it, you say, that's not what I meant. Blowing it out of context. Taking it, you social media guys, the media. And this is a bigger point, and I think what I was trying to get to with even Shane making those comments about taking shots now, it's like this us versus them type of media is blowing everything out of it. And that's not, we just heard what you said, Brian. That's it. Oh,
Just making sure. Just keep everybody in line.
we just heard what you said. You said it.
But and again, this is why
I
coaches,
said it, but I didn't mean it.
this is why coaches we get cardboard coaches. Why we don't get Mike Leaches anymore, Steve Spurriers, because then they say something and they get held accountable.
Oh, man. I'm sure Brian Kelly's walking into his meeting holding a bunch of people accountable. But when it comes to him, no thank you. I would never.
What's
It's not in my
his pay? What's his
character.
pay again? A lot. 10 million. 10, roughly in the 10 million. 803-404-6100.
He was just climbing up on my category. I was just getting ready to like
You were
the guy.
getting ready to
I was-
like him?
I was starting to like the
I
guy.
like him. He's going to deny it. It's not me. No, it's not me. That's like real quick because we got to get to Kerry Tharp. That's like what they did with Shohei Ohtani yesterday. Did you see that? Angels had team pictures and they brought in a body double. I'll get to that. We'll get to that in the next hour because they're going to Photoshop him in. They brought in a body double yesterday at Angels Picture Day. 803-404-6100. Kerry Tharp is up next. You're listening to the early game.
Here's what's coming up on the game.
The NFL season kicks off Thursday night with the Detroit Lions visiting the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs. Everything gets started at 7:30 p.m.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
This is Boomer Science with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. Quarterbacks under pressure this season start with Aaron Rodgers. What, you think I'd leave him off the list? He stole every offseason headline. Denver's Russell Wilson seeking redemption after a disastrous 2022. Now deals with Sean Payton Vigo. After his Vegas bad beat, Derek Carr needs to help New Orleans win the NFC South. They have the easiest path. More in the next hour on Boomer Science.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ray Magliocchi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching a kid how to parallel park. Ouch. Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Go up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right price. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Welcome back to Carolina Power Equipment and our special guest, Kai Kroger, hunter extraordinaire for the University of South Carolina.
Yep, it's Kai Boda country right here at Carolina Power Equipment.
That's Kubota, Kai.
Oh, right. That's what I said.
Tell everyone why you love these Kubota zero turns.
They're like our best running backs. They can cut through anything, and they're built like our biggest linebacker, tough as nails. Plus, they can stop and turn on a dime, just like my sweet kicks.
Don't forget about all the Kubota tractors. This place is a Kubota superstore.
I love these Kubota tractors. They keep winning awards for being the best in the business.
It's like the Ray Guy Award for Best Punter, where you were clearly robbed.
Moving on, if you're a landowner, these Kai Boda tractors simply outkick the competition.
Kai Boda? Nice try, buddy.
Tried a little fake there. I'm kind of known for that.
Carolina Power Equipment, 2490 Charleston Highway in the heart of Casey. Or visit CarolinaPowerEquipment.com.
Kubota, it's the only orange I'll ever love.
I am here with the new sponsor of 107.5 The Game, Jason Shannon with the Cook and Boardman Group.
the nation's leading supplier and largest inventory of architectural and commercial doors, frames, and door hardware. Jason, I know you have some exciting news to share.
Thanks, Bill. We are very excited to announce the opening of our new storefront right here in the Midlands. We now have a full-service counter open Monday through Friday starting at 7 a.m. We are located at 101 Corporate Boulevard in West Columbia, which is just off of Chris Drive, behind Man Tool and Supply. Our experienced team is ready to help you with the selection of high-quality, competitively priced commercial wood and metal doors and hardware, commercial welded and knockdown metal frames, fire-rated doors, access control systems, lock sets, and more. For more information, call us at 803-739-0642. That's 803-739-0642.
The Early Game Show will be broadcasting live from Cook and Boardman for their open house event on Tuesday, September 12th. Come see us and meet the Cook and Boardman team. There'll be free food, giveaways, and door prizes. That's Tuesday, September 12th, starting at 7 a.m. See you there.
The early game.
With Bill Gunter, former Gamecock Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
.44 on a Wednesday morning. Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen, and last Friday we were hanging out courtesy of Darlington Raceway President Kerry Tharp as he lined up a huge race. We got it all played out. Joining us,
a couple races actually.
well, true, a couple races, yeah, two, right? Two. So we were having that debate. That's actually a whole nother debate for a whole nother time. With Kerry about the May race versus the September race and things that I observed just as it pertains to being around the track on Friday. And I think Jen, you kind of disagreed with me on which race I should probably prefer to go to. Is that right?
I think it's paced. It's just a different type of race. I mean, you have a full weekend of 3 days of races.
Yeah, I like that.
In May, but Kerry, would you agree it's more of a party during the September weekend?
Well, certainly, and I can't thank you all enough for being there. It was great seeing you. Yeah, I mean, the May race is a new event for us still. I mean, we've only had it, I guess, for 3 years, but it is the throwback weekend, and that's obviously an important initiative for us. But the Labor Day weekend at Darlington is, as I was telling Jen earlier, it's kind of a tradition like none other in NASCAR. You equate Memorial Day with the Coca-Cola 600. You equate Labor Day with Darlington, and so it is a bit more of a, I guess, party atmosphere. I guess you could say it's Labor Day. People have the day off on Monday. And it's kind of the last hurrah for the summer, I suppose. Schools getting ready to get back in session, or
He's already on vacation.
Apparently,
He's already
not leaving till tomorrow.
check.
but-
Let's check with him, see if we can get him back there and get going with that. My point on this, Preston, is we were walking around, both of us, as we were walking around, there was people that were out there kind of enjoying the weekend and what they were doing, I'm sure Saturday was incredible as they got ready for the Xfinity race. Kerry Tharp joining us back now. Let's ask you though, what did you make? How was the race? Let's get your take on the race itself.
well, I thought the race Saturday was excellent. I thought the race Sunday was really good. And there's that difference as we talked on Friday, Bill. It's 100 miles longer than the spring race, and so I think a lot of different strategy unfolds in that race. I thought obviously Denny Hamlin had a very strong car, and he kind of got lost in the shuffle there at the end. And Kyle Larson came on and was just incredibly tough the last 50, 60 laps of the race, and that happens a lot in the Southern 500. I thought he was the it was a big win for Larson, his first Cup win at Darlington, and it advances him to the next round of the playoffs.
Again, you mentioned it. Let's go real back to my guy, and I want your explanation on this with the Denny Hamlin situation. And I'm not being funny about this. Just when you hear that, because Jen discussed it a little bit on Monday, but when he feels, what was the proper terminology? He feels loose in one of the wheels. Am I right on that?
Yeah.
And-
He said he felt like something was off with the wheel.
Something was off, but then his crew checks the wheel and cannot find anything wrong with it. What's your takeaway from that?
Well, I mean, nobody knows the car better than the driver when they're out there doing 180 miles an hour, and I guess he felt some type of vibration in the wheel, and he wanted to go back. He wanted to go in and check on it because he thought maybe it was going to become a greater issue. And unfortunately for him, he went on the pit road for service, and they couldn't find anything. And he lost valuable track position, and basically that's when he gave up the lead, and really he was not unable to get back up to the front. So I think that was one of those situations, Phil, where he just felt like something was askew, and it really wasn't. And like I said, it turned out to be a tough race for me.
Kerry Tharp joining us as he does each and every, usually on Thursdays, we close out the NASCAR season. Preston, real quick, going back to what we were talking about, where I was going with that with you, is how different did you notice Darlington being Friday morning in September as opposed to May?
Well, the big difference was September is football season.
Uh-huh.
And so we didn't go maybe 10 steps without either a cheer or a
it's
cheer
true.
from the Clemson and Carolina contingent out there. I was wearing a Gamecock shirt, and I was met with very happy applause and greetings to come and have a conversation, or we were cursed and told to walk the other way.
I think I was actually told I was a non-Christian.
Yeah.
If I remember, like someone was like, you two looked at Jen and Preston like, you two are good Christians. And I'm, of course, I'd gotten up and gotten dressed. So I was like, good grief.
Bill made the malfunction of wearing a Carolina blue shirt that day.
Yeah, I did see that, and that was a bad omen. Trust me, that was
He's
a
going to
bad
take
omen.
responsibility. There's a lot of blame to go around.
See, he contributed to that.
So that was the big difference. And again, the people were nice as they were in May, but there was a little different vibe because everybody was waiting for a football season. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kerry, how did you observe your final race as a track president? How did you watch it? How did you absorb it? How did you feel on Monday? That kind of, is it relief? Is it relief that was your last one putting it on and having to yell at everybody?
No, it's not a relief. It's really just a lot of emotions and everything. I watched the race. I thought the pre-race was extraordinary. I thought the band from Fort Jackson was excellent, playing the national anthem. I thought the flyover from McIntyre was spot on. Had a little fireworks there at the beginning. I watched the first few laps there from the opening in turn one as they get up to speed. That's just really powerful. I enjoyed that. And then virtually I was all over the property. I went up to our suite for a while. I went to every single suite on property and said hello to everybody. I went to up to the control tower, race control, and said hello to the race officials. I also was kind of hectic there for a while when our lights went out for a little while. Everybody asked me, what was that all about, Tarp? I said, well, I just wanted to go out with a bang, so that was a little unnerving, but we got that fixed in pretty short order. I even went up in the grandstands, Phil. I sat up in the grandstands for about 30 minutes and just watched the race, and people were looking at me like, what are you doing up here? I said, well, I wanted to get the view that you all get. And I always do that. I go to the concession lines and make sure that those are going good. And finally, by the time I get done with all that, I wind up in victory lane with about 20 laps to go and presented the trophy to Kyle Larson. Then I went around, made sure that our patrons were getting off property safely. And just went by and saw a lot of people. And everything. I got out of here about 1:15 in the morning, got back to my house, still had some family and friends that are still up. So we celebrated a little bit. Got up actually Monday morning, got over here to the racetrack about 9 o'clock and took some signs. We have some signs that say thank you fans, and I took them around property and reading a lot of campers that they were leaving. We're just trying to put this place back together. But, I'm not saying it was relief at all. I'm just so thankful that we got it off. The weather was great. We had a full house, and I'm just so thankful everything went pretty well.
Let's make some picks here. We are in Kansas this week, as it is now the is it what I should say is it round of 16 still? Are we still on that? Correct?
Yes.
All right.
Round
Round
of 16.
of 16. Jen, you were up first. Who are you going with?
You know what? I'm just throwing another dart. I'm going to say William Byron.
Byron. Okay. All right. Leaves me a pick. What do we have for Reggie, who's made an incredible comeback?
You know what? Let me double check real quick. And I will be very upset because I was going to take Hamlin. I just have a hard time taking him. So I was not. Yeah, I do not have a pick for Reggie.
Of course
so.
you don't. Reggie is lazy, and his son had to go to school today,
Okay.
and therefore, no, the comeback is incredible, Carrie. But it's all because Reggie's son has started picking for him. Reggie's son would
No,
blow us all
Reggie's
away here.
son-
Yeah.
Reggie's son knows much more about it than Reggie does.
Yes. Carrie, you had just 2 points last week. You're in a tie with Preston, so we'll let you pick before Preston here.
I'm going to go with the Toyota camp. I'm wavering between Truex and another one, but I'm going to go with Christopher Bell to win.
Nice. And Reggie just put in Bubba Wallace.
Bubba Wallace.
He
So,
won last fall.
so he had his son finally made his pick. Good job, son of Reggie, for getting your pick in. Preston, where are you going?
I'm going with Kyle Larson to repeat. Give me another one, 2 in a row.
And I've taken Hamlin 2 straight weeks. He'll win this week because I'm not taking him. Give me MTJ. Give me Truex Jr.
See, this
There you
is one
go.
I should have taken Hamlin.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yep.
We'll see.
Carrie, enjoy a vacation. We will catch up with you next
Okay.
Thursday, buddy.
Thank you, guys. See ya.
Take care. Take care. Carrie Tharp, still at least right now, Darlington Raceway president, but going on vacation for a few days. Always appreciate him. That was the Quarterly Pool Solutions Checker Flag Challenge. Hour 3 is on the way. Coming up tomorrow night, right here on 107.5 The Game. Hear more from South Carolina head football coach Shane Beamer for the Carolina Calls call-in show. Shane Beamer and Todd Ellis will get you the final report from Coach Beamer on injuries, on the offensive line, on everything going on. You can hear that tomorrow evening, 6 p.m., right here on 107.5 The Game. That's where you want to tune in. You can also hear it on 100.3 in Myrtle Beach. It'll be the Shane Beamer call-in show tomorrow night, live, 6 p.m. from Backstreet's Grill. Again, you want to tune in and listen because you never know what Shane Beamer is going to say. Injuries, offensive line, all tomorrow night right here, 6 p.m. on 107.5 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Sponsored by TrainInfo.com. Train heating and cooling systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit TrainInfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. TrainInfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Sponsored by South Carolina Education Lottery.
Did you know that since 2002, more than 2.4 million lottery-funded scholarships such as Life Hope and Palmetto Fellow scholarships have been awarded to South Carolina students? Playing for fun is a win for education. Visit saeducationlottery.com/education wins for more info.
Life matters. Uncle Zeke, who lived in Muleshoe, Texas, couldn't admit he was wrong no matter what. One day, Uncle Zeke wandered into the blacksmith shop and picked up a recently discarded horseshoe. It had been tossed aside as unworkable by the blacksmith, and though it was on the ground, it was still very hot. Zeke picked it up and, of course, promptly released it. The blacksmith smiled and said, "Kind of hot, ain't it, Zeke?" Zeke's reply was classic. "Nope, just don't take me long to look at a horseshoe." One of the greatest attributes a person can have is to be able to admit when they're wrong. That means you call something in your life what it is. In fact, the New Testament word for confess means to say the same thing as God says. That means we are no longer the judge of our life. God is. This is Pastor Stephen Chitty. Remember, life matters, and so do you. Go to clcolumbia.com for in-person and live streaming service times.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hostetler Brown. Do you know the difference between a revocable trust and an irrevocable trust? The difference could easily save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in long-term care costs. Visit lawyerlisa.com to schedule a consultation today.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa. 7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Daddy, you need a trust.
What you're talking about.
On 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. No hassles, no all-day runarounds, no ridiculous add-on stickers. At Love Chevy, buying a car is fun. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads.
There's no better place to be on a fall Saturday than at Williams-Brice Stadium. Secure your tickets today to catch a game this fall. Visit thegamecockclub.com for more information. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game.
Sponsored by Molina Healthcare. Feel better with Molina Healthcare.
With Molina Healthcare, you get a health plan with lots of great benefits, including a large network of quality providers. And that makes it easier to find the right doctor for you. For the care you need, close to home, choose Molina. Learn more now at meetmolinasouthcarolina.com.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
Hey, this is Jalen Nichols from South Carolina Football. You're listening to 107.5 The Game, home of the Gamecocks.
A Cumulus media station.
The early game.
With Bill Gunter.
That was a segment on the number 3.
And 13.
And 13.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne and Jen Jensen.
And all I'm hearing is the Sesame Street song, and this brought to you by the number 3,
There you
the
go.
letter B, whatever the case may be.
There you go.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
How about that? How about that for quality radio during the summertime? Welcome to the early game.
Idiocracy.
107.5
The theme of this show. I don't know what happened.
The Game.
Other injuries, the physical game last week, would say that Marquis Anderson is doubtful this week. I would say that Nicky Memori is doubtful this week. I would say that JT Gear is doubtful this week. I would say that David Spalding is doubtful this week. Kason Henry is out this week. And everybody else practiced today and should be
Broadcasting
good to go.
live from the Herndon Chevrolet studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Other injuries, the physical game last week, would say that Marquis Anderson is doubtful this week. I would say that Nicky Memori is doubtful this week. I would say that JT Gear is doubtful this week. I would say that David Spalding is doubtful this week. Kason Henry is out this week. And everybody else practiced today and should be good to go.
That was Shane Beamer yesterday, press conference. I know he didn't do this on purpose, but it does make me kind of laugh when you say it was a physical game last week. And two of the guys mentioned in that injury report didn't travel. Marquis Anderson and Tyus Gear, they're not even traveling because of injuries they sustained. Also, the fact that he led off with Marquis Anderson. That's like y'all saying, it's a tough show today. Bill wasn't here, though. Yeah, he doesn't know.
Also, there's a sliding scale on, and this is just in my personal ears. If I hear doubtful, I think out. That's what I hear.
Yeah, like if there's 4 stages, what is it? Probable, like there's playing and there's out. It's the 2 sides of it, and then there's probable and doubtful, right?
Doubtful's closer to out,
yeah,
than it is to play.
Like the
just how in the scale wise, that's what I would think, and also in consideration of the opponent, not taking them lightly. Not saying that by any means, but if there's an opportunity for players to get a little bit more healthy and they don't have to play this week, I think you try and take advantage of that.
Yeah, Juice Wells yesterday saying that he told Shane Beamer, I don't care, let me play this week. And we don't know exactly what Juice Wells' injury has been. There's a lot of different reports on it. I've heard certain stuff. I've not confirmed. Other people are texting in with stuff they've heard. Obviously we know he didn't practice for the first 2 weeks of fall camp.
He didn't practice majority of fall camp. He didn't start with the team until fall camp, until game week. And the way this injury has been talked about, not talked about, is really interesting because Shane has alluded to the idea that he keeps talking to Juice, and Juice keeps telling him, I'm going to go, I'm ready to go, don't. And that's never really how injuries are handled. Injuries are handled with the coach going to the trainer, and the trainer saying, this guy can go, or this guy cannot go, or he can go this much. And so it's just a lot of this conversation about, Juice told me that he's ready to go, and it doesn't really matter what Juice says. It's more about what the trainer says.
Yeah, Jason says, I don't understand why Juice played a few snaps, then left the game, but is able to practice 2 days later and play the next week. What is going on? And this is, I go back and forth on this. I know you have strong feelings on the transparency of injury reports, and I go back and forth on what we, the public, need to know and what we don't need to know. I think you said it best, though. When we don't know, that's fine, but then we're allowed to make up our own narrative.
Absolutely. If you don't tell us what it is, we will just fill this void with useless information from things that we've heard or even may have not have heard. I don't know. So I think it's beneficial for everybody involved to be more transparent. That way they can know what to expect and they can not know what to be let down. And then even from a game planning perspective, if you're game planning to have Juice Wells there and then he's not able to go because he hasn't practiced or he hasn't been able to complete a physical practice, that dramatically changes your game plan.
And again, he played 19 plays.
Yeah, but even in those 19 snaps, he was not.
No, my point is, again, because what he was targeted, was it the second or third pass?
Something
there was a pass over. I think it was the third down play. I think it was the third pass of the game, and it was a little behind. It was a tough catch, even if he was healthy. But he would then go on to play more plays after that. We don't know, and that's probably we don't know publicly what it is. You go back, again, it's all hearsay, right? Reckless speculation,
Yeah.
Just reckless, just throwing things out there.
We will not do that on the radio.
But but that's the thing is you look and you go, okay, well, if he was injured, you definitely you shouldn't need him this week. Give him another week to heal. It's going to be interesting to see with him now. David Spalding is another one that just can't seem to stay healthy. Unfortunately, there does seem to be a trend of players. The other part about this, when you don't say it, and maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. Like we know Mo Kava's an ACL, and Preston, correct me if I'm wrong, there's nothing you can really do to prevent an ACL. That's a in-game situation or a step or whatever. Unlike early on under Jeff, is it Dillman? That I'm trying to think. And then who they bring in after Dillman? Didn't he bring in another one? He let Dillman go. Yeah,
Greg something. He was here for a short period. I don't even know if he had a residency.
Okay, all right. But I thought Dillman was let go.
Dillman was here for a long time.
But there was a thing with Dillman where, hamstring injuries were a problem. And some of these injuries, Case and Henry and obviously Mo Kava in particular, and last year George Strong, those aren't hamstring injuries.
Right.
Those are not something that you can do during the summer to stretch your hamstrings. You work to kind of protect, right?
Well, there's a couple of things. We've trained all summer. With that being said, it's very difficult to understand how, after all of the extensive training all summer, why are we lifting all this weight? It's the first time that I go out and play. I'm going to pull something. That to me means either we weren't adequately trained, or B, we haven't been adequately going to full speed during practice. And now, when I try and turn it up in the game, my body's not ready to react to that. So it's one of those two things. Now, hamstrings do get pulled. Now, again, I, as a defensive lineman, was not going to pull ahead.
Right.
Because I was not going to move that fast. There was not going to be any hamstring pull for those fast guys, those dudes with a lot of muscle. When they start tensing up or really starting to take things to the next level, that's when you get those hamstring pulls. And you would hope that they've been practicing at that level all year.
As far as the injuries, again, Yeah, it's the injury list does seem significant. I mean, Mo Kaba was expected to be a starter. Kaysen Henry is expected to be a starter. Nicky Manwari, again, a starter. David Spalding playing a large role at the nickel position. And no offense to Keenan Nelson Jr., but the way he played the other day, you would think maybe a change would be necessary at that position. And I'll even go a step further with Nicky Manwari. Maybe you'd look at Manwari and Jalen Kilgore at safety and then sliding DQ Smith down into that nickel role. That had been discussed. So with the Manwari injury, with the Spalding injury, you do take away some of the flexibility that maybe they wanted to use with the secondary. You go a little bit further there. You heard him talk about Marquis Anderson. Maybe that's not the injury that bothers you a lot, but I would have liked to see Marquis Anderson against Furman this week after what we saw last week from the offensive line. I am fully hoping Big Tree Babalade can somehow survive practice the next 2 days and not end up with a lower body or an upper body.
He has one of two things going on. He has a lower body or an upper body injury. We're trying to narrow it down. We don't know.
But, personally, you talk about going out there. The way the tackles played last week and you gave those grades off of Pro Football Focus, throw them out there.
Yeah, this is the week that you hope that you're able to have the luxury to be able to do that, whether that's getting up to an earlier lead or
I don't know. I don't even mean as a luxury.
You just mean doing
You've got 4 games that he can play as a red shirt.
Okay.
That new red shirt rule changes, and I would guess, Preston, within the first quarter, if you throw him out there against Furman, if you throw him out there by the end of the first quarter, you can look and go, okay, he's adequate. Let's give him the second quarter, or you go, whoa, he's not ready for it. Let's throw him back in the marinade box and give him some more time. I don't right now. You've been there. Do you have a specific player you remember that was a gamer and not a practice player, or a guy that was great? There's one in particular that comes to mind that I always heard from the Holtz coaching staff that was fantastic in practice, but that might have them telling me this is why we continue to start this guy. But there was one that I heard was always great in practice, but I would say struggled in games, but maybe didn't play as well as he practiced.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of somebody specifically. In my experience, it feels like the guys who made plays in practice made plays in the game. I mean, that just seems like if I'm trying to think anybody that I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about maybe somebody like Mo Thompson, who, if you saw him in the weight room and you saw him get pinned on the 225, you'd be like, there's no way that guy's going to make a bunch of plays. He was tremendous, but he made a bunch of plays in practice. Derek Watson was one of the hardest practice players we had. I can't think of anybody who was that way.
That was the thing. I'm not going to give you the name just to embarrass that guy, but the Steve Spurrier was a guy that I don't know if he valued practice, but he valued what you did in games. He was kind of a guy like, look, when the lights go on and there's 75,000 there, I don't really care what you do. If you can do it there, I'm not as concerned as long as you understand what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. But Steve Spurrier is that kind of guy.
Well, that's how he played, and that's how he expected you to almost play, like, except for Steven Garcia, who he wanted to be like full pads during 104-degree heat, doing workouts for this. He held Garcia to a standard, I think. Of course, poor Garcia had Connor Shaw behind him, who did everything right, who always wore his shoes when he worked out. That story about Spurrier about losing it because he looked out onto the practice field, looked into the stadium from his office, and Garcia's out there throwing routes with his wide receivers and wasn't wearing cleats, has been one of the best Spurrier-Garcia interactions I've ever heard. But 803-404-6100. We'll get back into this. Let you listen to a little bit more audio as we roll along. A few other things for Sean Lee weighing in on motivation, as well as a few more things from Shane Beamer. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen.
The game will be at the beach, in the PD, and the Midlands. That almost covers the whole Palmetto State. In Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Yes, we're stranded off the Main Street exit northbound. How fast can you be here?
I just want to check under the hood while we wait.
Hold on just a sec. Honey, it's dark out. I don't think it's a good idea to get out.
I'm sure it'll take them a while.
They're here?
Wow.
We're not that fast, but we're pretty close. When you're in a pickle because you drive a lemon, call Schroeder's Towing. Don't be left on the side of the road distressed. That's Schroeder's Towing with over 1,200 Google reviews. Call now at 772-7930.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest bookers in town.
I am here with the new sponsor of 1075 The Game, Jason Shannon, with the Cook and Boardman Group, the nation's leading supplier and largest inventory of architectural and commercial doors, frames, and door hardware. Jason, I know you have some exciting news to share.
Thanks, Bill. And we are very excited to announce the opening of our new storefront right here in the Midlands. We now have a full-service counter open Monday through Friday starting at 7 a.m. We are located at 101 Corporate Boulevard in West Columbia, which is just off of Chris Drive, behind Man Tool and Supply. Our experienced team is ready to help you with a selection of high-quality, competitively priced commercial wood and metal doors and hardware, commercial welded and knockdown metal frames, fire-rated doors, access control systems, lock sets, and more. For more information, call us at 803-739-0642. That's 803-739-0642.
The Early Game Show will be broadcasting live from Cook and Boardman for their open house event on Tuesday, September 12th. Come see us and meet the Cook and Boardman team. There'll be free food, giveaways, and door prizes. That's Tuesday, September 12th, starting at 7 a.m. See you there.
Can you imagine efficiency and productivity at an all-time high?
Everyone is happier.
And everything is cleaner.
You no longer have to think about all the junk that's in your way.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
You're incredibly good at what you do.
We're good at what we do, too.
Why not outsource the cleanup to us?
Put us in the game, Coach. Put us in the game.
We're industrial strength magicians.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
This is Larry Light, owner and founder of Mid-State Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in roofing and waterproofing industry. Mid-State Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Mid-State Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Mid-State Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Wenger, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Mid-State Roofing staff member during at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Mid-State Twins.
If you have a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek.
Mobile phones, laptops, video games, social media. It's time to unplug, rev up, and get out into the real world on a Honda CRF dirt bike. Honda's family of rugged, reliable CRF trail and dirt bikes are a great way to get out and get connected as a family. From young riders to experience, they have the Honda dirt bikes in stock and ready to ride. Carolina Honda Powerhouse. Just take exit 70 off I-20 or visit carolinahonda.com. Intended for off-road operation only. Parents need to consider a rider's age, size, ability, and maturity before allowing them to ride.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring sergeants and lieutenants statewide. If you have correctional, security, military, or police experience, you can join SCDC as a sergeant or lieutenant. There's a $7,500 sign-on bonus and increased pay for most security positions. Start a rewarding new career with great benefits today. Visit joinscdc.com to apply now or call 803-734-JOBS for more information.
This place has a pulse. You hear it in the canopy, feel it in the ground. Life, fully illuminated, engulfs you. From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insects in the soil below, you take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest. Now, imagine it's all gone. Healthy, life-giving forest, reduced to nothing. No singing birds, no lush canopy, and water and food in short supply around the world. Time is running out to protect our forests, and without our love, they can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our forests. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified, Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
1075 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
Going to want to avoid Highway 1 at Cox Ferry Road. There is an incident there, so might find an alternate route to make your life easier. I-20 westbound before Two Knots Road. Also, I-20 westbound at Longpond, there's a vehicle on fire. And working on cleaning up Broad River Road near Bush River Road. So a few accidents out there that you do need to keep an eye out for. Looking for a high of 96 today, late storm tomorrow, 95 for the high, and maybe some isolated storms really throughout the weekend starting on Friday. Friday's high 90. Warming up, though, it is 75 right now.
The early game.
With Phil Gutcher, Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
$8:20 on a Wednesday morning. So halfway through the week, as a couple of y'all weighed in. Yep, hump day. We're there tomorrow night. Chiefs and Lions. We'll talk a little more about that tomorrow as we get into Chiefs and Lions and seeing the return of Patrick Mahomes. The excitement for the Lions after they finished the season so strong last year. Dan Campbell back, Jared Goff for them. So we'll talk a little NFL tomorrow as well. But right now, kind of rehashing what Shane Beamer said yesterday. And one thing that we have talked about that I don't know how to put it in terms, because there is a difference between being strong, right? Just being a dude who can go in the weight room and, bench press a whole bunch of weight.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was just saying. Like I said, Mo Thompson, if you saw him in the weight room, you would never think that guy could make those types of plays on the football field. There's different levels of.
But he was physical. He was
absolutely super physical on the field, but that's not necessarily the same as weight room.
One of the questions from this past weekend has been how physical South Carolina was offensively and defensively with North Carolina. Here's Shane Beamer yesterday talking about improving physicality.
Yeah, great question, Rick. Yes, when we practiced, it was the same practice schedule that we had last Tuesday against UNC. It wasn't like we came in here today and said we're going to be more and more physical in this Tuesday's practice than we were last Tuesday. It was literally the same schedule, plan, everything. The only thing that we switched from last Tuesday to today was what we call team run, which is first offense versus first defense. And it's just 6 straight runs, and it has to be a run. And then the second offense versus the second defense, and it's 6 straight plays. And we're allowed to throw one pass every 6 plays, but it's team run. We did that, near the beginning of practice today, just to emphasize it a little bit more. But other than that, it was the same practice. But no, we didn't talk about it and say that we did say we need to be a lot better than last Tuesday, but it wasn't like we have to change everything. We just tried to do it a little bit better, and our guys did. But certainly you do balance it, because you are thin, not just on the offensive line. We're thin at defensive back. With Mo being out, we're really thin at linebacker. Stone, Debo, and then Pup. And then Bam Scott didn't play last week. He didn't make the trip. We're hopeful he'll be able to play this week, but you're thin at linebacker and whatnot. JT Gear is still out, so you're a little bit thin on the defensive line. So you're thin everywhere. You got to be smart with how you are practicing, no question about it. But the way that we've gotten better the last 2 seasons as the year has gone on, a lot of reasons, but right at the top is the way that we practice throughout the week, in my opinion, because we practice really hard, really physical throughout the year.
5.
And we're going to have to continue to do that this season as well.
what he said, there is a fine line somewhere in there, Preston, between not. We've talked about this on this program because you're very familiar with it. How physical practices were in the preseason under Lou Holtz, and how you guys, especially in those last 2 years, came out and you started 5-2, and there was a dominance about it. And we talked about those just wars. I mean, that's what they were with Georgia. That you would have an ESPN announcer saying this is the most physical game we'll see all year, versus Steve Spurrier's team, who would come out and they might flail around a little bit in the opener. They might not look as physical until they got some really good players in there, Lattimore and Clowney and Gilmore and so forth and so on. I don't think you really saw Steve Spurrier's teams be overly physical until the Lattimore year and the Georgia game at noon when Lattimore announced himself.
That was a turning point.
And at that point, yes. But I think from that standpoint, look, Shane Beamer's the coach. We just do radio. But I think it is a fair question to ask, because the last 2 years, this team has not come out and been physical against Eastern Illinois. They were not physical against Georgia State. Last year, Georgia State in particular, like, a bunch of small offensive linemen. Everything you said against Furman,
correct,
we said about Georgia State. Oh, it's not their fault. Georgia State's small. They cut. They move. They stunt. This is the third year where I feel like you've seen a team who in the first game could have used that warm-up game more as a preseason game.
Yeah, I don't know what the right approach is.
I don't either. That's why I'm asking.
It's very difficult because, again, I played for Lou Holtz, and we would have beat anybody in those first 5 weeks of the season because we were so physical. But also, you saw what happened towards the end of those seasons where we were just worn down physically because you can't keep up that level of intensity. So there's absolutely a fine line to how you want to approach it. I think with having such a young group of offensive line and defensive linemen, you probably had to turn the physicality up a little bit more during camp just to get them there. Now, we do have a bunch of experienced veterans. You don't need to do it as much. But for folks that are trying to prove their spot, you probably need to do it a little bit more.
And to point that out, guys who you were going to start from Western Illinois, Yale, if it was, Jackson Hughes at Charlotte, to learn that level of SEC physicality. Because it's different. Because it's easy to say, well, those guys have been around 3 or 4 years. They haven't been in the SEC. And I'm also going to say this. I don't think I can question Shane Beamer on it because one thing that he is right, that the record proves out, they've been good in November.
Right.
And there's proof right there that, okay, maybe this, but it looks questionable. If you're going to do that, let me look real quick and just glance. If you're going to do that, then you need to have a Georgia State or an Eastern Illinois or even a Furman or whomever to open the season with. Not always Shane Beamer's call. This thing is scheduled out through 35, 36, whatever. But I'm just looking ahead. Next year, South Carolina will open with Old Dominion. So if you have a fall camp that's a little less physical, you can maybe take advantage of that against an Old Dominion.
Yeah, but again, also you have to get into what mentality do we want to have as an offensive line? What is going to be our calling card? What are we going to be known as a team? What is going to be our identity? We prided ourselves, this is a long time ago again, but under those Lou Holtz seasons, we prided ourselves in saying, we know what we've been through. There's not going to be many more teams who are more physical. They might be more talented. They might have higher stars of truth, but we're going to be physical. And he definitely made us earn that throughout the camp. Again, that sounds all well and good, but at the end of those seasons, we would wear down.
Right.
And so there's a balancing that you need to have. It does not look good now. We have to trust that the team will get better and they can improve throughout the year. But that's going to take a lot of effort and a lot of work.
803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in on that. We'll get back into some of that conversation as well, just because we got Brian Edwards coming up next from Vegas Insider. But is it a mentality thing or is it a practice thing? I'll ask you that later on in this hour. But coming up next, Brian Edwards of Vegas Insider. You're listening to the Early Game.
Here's what's coming up on the game.
There was no special teams touchdown Saturday, so the pot goes up another $100 in the Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Touchdown Contest. Now, if the Gamecocks do score a special teams touchdown this Saturday versus Furman, you could win $200. Register every week at 1075thegame.com.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 1075 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
It is another football weekend, which means you might be planning some watch parties. And after last weekend's watch parties, maybe you need to clean the house a little bit. If that's the case, don't wait another day. Call Zero Res, 803-262-4020, or you can easily schedule online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Football season is upon us, which means more time spent in our living rooms watching your favorite team and making messes, chips, dip, you name it. The carpet and upholstery is seeing it all. So call Zero Res and take advantage of the fall sale right now. Mention me, Bill Gunner, at 1075 The Game, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. 803-262-4020 is how you make that phone call, or you can hit them up on the internet, ZeroResColumbia.com. Again, mention me, Bill Gunner, at 1075 The Game, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $129. Zero Res, spell it backwards for Forbes. It's the right way to clean.
Sponsored by Staples Stores.
Hi, everybody. This is Woody Wyndham here to talk about Pioneer Tree Service, Guy Gant's company. Guy Gant's not with us anymore, but his girls are the Gant girls. You know, Chelsea and Madison. You know some of the things they do at Pioneer Tree Service? Tree and shrub removal, tree pruning and thinning, tree planting, tree bracing, raising tree canopies, stump grinding removal, storm damage services, property cleaning and grading, demolition and rock removal, right-of-way maintenance. You got to get in touch with these people. 803-794-8253. Let me give you that again. 803-794-8253. Call right now and get a free estimate. The most challenging jobs, Pioneer Tree Service. So you're going to want to call somebody you can trust, and that is the Gant girls at Pioneer Tree Service.
803-794-8253. Or find us online at pioneertreesc.com.
Call Pioneer Tree Service for a free quote.
Trucks, we want trucks. New Silverados are on the ground now, and more are on the way to Herndon Chevrolet. We're taking up to $15,000 off to get you in your new truck. Stop by your hometown Chevy dealer and shop all your favorite models at prices you'll love. Find new roads at Herndon Chevrolet, or visit us online at herndonchevy.com today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile, smile.
There's no better place to be on a fall Saturday than at Williams-Brice Stadium. Secure your tickets today to catch a game this fall. Visit thegamecockclub.com for more information. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game.
If you have tax problems and want to end the frustration of dealing with the IRS, grab a pen and take down this number. Hi, I'm local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm, located right here in the Midlands. Let us show you what it takes to solve your tax problems once and for all. The first step, which can be one of the hardest, is to take action. Do something. Call me, set an appointment, and meet with me in person. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll show you how to take control of the problem. So if you haven't filed your tax returns for years or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, John Ecton, at 803-771-9800. That's 803-771-9800. Or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Learn what it takes to solve your tax problems for good. Take that first step to a better future. Call me, John Ecton.
At Social Security, we are always thinking of ways to save you time and make things easier. That's why we created My Social Security. A My Social Security account allows you to access your earnings history and benefits information, request a replacement Social Security card, get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
1075 The Game traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
Several accidents to let you know about that are causing major slowdowns at this time. We're looking at Highway 1 at Cox Ferry. Just avoid that area if you can. There's a security incident that had happened overnight, so they're just having to do some investigations. I-20 westbound after Clemson Road. There is a tie up there. Also, I-20 westbound at Long Pond Road. Broad River Road near Bush River Road, an accident there. So just be careful out there this morning if you would. It's 75 right now on the Hurricane.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 1075 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Don't know if anybody is aware of it or knows this little girl, but we're looking up at the Today Show, and Al Roker is doing whatever it is he does, and the little girl in the background has a South Carolina Under Armour jersey on in the back. So there you go, little South Carolina love this morning as we roll through Wednesday morning here. Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen, and we are joined now by Brian Edwards of Vegas Insider. You can check him out on Twitter. Vegas B Edwards is the way to do that. And Brian, I assume you're on air with us, so you made it through the first 5 days, first true 5 days of college football. Didn't overindulge yourself.
No, it all went well, other than the LSU game. It's been a really good weekend, and then obviously lost LSU, but still a little slight practice for the week, and on to the next.
Real quick, don't spend too much time on this, but you are a Florida Gator fan. Thursday night, your take.
Yeah, so I mean, I have been following the team religiously since 1980. Went to the swamp the first time since '81. Unfortunately, and I'm never a pessimist, but unfortunately, all off season I've been saying I've never had lower expectations in my lifetime. So it was really as expected. I want AB Scott Strickland fired ASAP, and not looking too good.
Let's get to the plays this week, and one of the teams you're jumping all over, noon game, and playing an offensive coordinator who was not favored around here, was not a guy that was particularly liked. You like Colorado in a multitude of different ways in this ball game on Saturday.
Yeah, I think my favorite play is Colorado's team total to go over 30.5, 431. Now, I know Nebraska looked good defensively last week, but that Minnesota offense with the young quarterback did not look good in the Minnesota quarterback's 5 starts. It's Kaliak Monis is his name. Last 5 starts last year, no bueno. And so, they're facing a totally different offense. Colorado's offense led by Sean Lewis, the OC, who was the head coach at Kent State last year. Looks like they could do whatever they want. 4 receivers, more than 100 yards. Shedeur Sanders looks like a first-round pick. So that's my favorite, is team total over 30.5 or 31. But I'm also on Colorado's team total over 14.5 in the first half. My second favorite of these 4 plays on Colorado is probably Colorado -3. And then the other one, I played over 57.5 early in the week. But now it's up to 59.5 or 60. So I'm less bullish on that. Maybe just put whatever eggs you're going to put in that basket. Just put them all on Colorado. Team total over 30.5 or 31 or Colorado.
So a lot of plays there on Colorado after what he saw last week. Shedeur Sanders throwing for 510 yards. Let's move on here. You've got 4 other picks collegiately that you like. And let's start with the game of the weekend. Game day will be there. Alabama hosting Texas.
Yeah, so go. I'm trying to find the game here on my live odds. If you can get 7, I like Alabama. I thought Jalen Milroe looked vastly improved. We saw him run the ball effectively against Arkansas last year. We knew he could do that, but we had not seen him throw, deep balls successfully. Did a couple of deep balls last week, 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions. Just looked very improved. I know it's Middle Tennessee, but Alabama sure did look a lot more impressive than Texas did against Rice. I mean, Texas only had 1 touchdown at halftime, but the main thing here for me is Sark has been terrible on the road at Texas. He's 3-6 straight up in 9 road games. Of those 6 road losses, 5 came by margins of at least 7, and Alabama's 15-5-1 against the spread. His last 21 as a home favorite. Let's be honest, most of those spreads were three times this number of 7. I still am having a hard time finding that Alabama game on the board to see if it's still 7. I don't know why I can't find it, but I'm blind right now. I think it's still 7.
We'll look for that. Let's go on to another one you like. You mentioned Minnesota and their play last week as they had to kick a last-second field goal against Nebraska. Eastern Michigan makes the trip up to Minnesota this weekend, plus 21.
Well, Gunnar, you probably remember me playing Eastern Michigan a little bit. Their head coach, Chris Creighton, I call him the underdog king. When they're underdogs, I'm on them. They are 25-4 against the spread their last 29 as road underdogs. They've won outright at Arizona State last year. They won outright at Illinois a couple years ago, outright at Purdue. They have gone into Power 5 programs and won outright in their building. Like I said, Minnesota's offense struggled last week. And here's the stats I was trying to think of from Kaliakmanis, their new QB. In his 6 starts, Minnesota scored 17, 20, 31, 10, 23, and 13. So they're laying 21 or 20.5. I'd buy the half point to 21 to that key number. But, so they're laying 20.5 or 21, and they've only scored more than that twice in Kaliakmanis' 6 starts. And Eastern Michigan is going to score some. So give me Eastern Michigan plus 21.
Sneaky good game for this weekend. It's not the best schedule for college football. I don't think it's an awful schedule, but it's not the best schedule. But there's a sneaky good one at 3:30 on Saturday. Tulane and Ole Miss should be a lot of offense. Ole Miss putting up a ton of points last week. Tulane was a team obviously to beat Southern Cal in the Cotton Bowl last year. Did lose Travian Robertson, defensive line coach to South Carolina, but you like the over and give us your thoughts on that one.
Well, so I took the over at 62.5 Sunday night. It's up to 65 or 65.5. So obviously I'm not as bullish on it. I'm not against the over still. I just, I'm at a better number. It crossed the key number of 63 for a total, 63 being a multiple of 7. But look, man, Tulane, it's not going to be easy for Ole Miss. Willie Fritz, heck of a coach. Michael Pratt, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. 14 of 15, 294 yards, 4 touchdowns, without an interception last week. South Alabama was really good last year, 10-3 straight up, brought back 18 of 22 starters. But Tulane had a pretty easy time with them last week. We don't know if Ole Miss stud receiver Zachary Franklin is going to play yet. But they got Trey Harris, the La Tech transfer. He literally scored 3 touchdowns in 3 minutes and 15 seconds to start the game last week. So my lean is, Ole Miss, even at 65. And I also lean Ole Miss. Not my favorite play of the week, but as long as you can get 7, it's 7.5 at some books. I'd buy it. The half point is 7, but not as bullish on these as my other plays. But yeah, I'm okay with Ole Miss minus 7 and over 65.
If you want to follow him, make sure you do so on Twitter. Vegas B. Edwards is how you can reach him. You can ask him questions, and he'll be able to help you out and get into it a little bit. One more that you've got for the college game. Florida State comes off that huge win. This week they get Southern Mississippi. You like the team total there for the Seminoles?
Yeah, kind of a letdown spot for FSU and on a short week as they were playing, late Sunday night. So I'm almost expecting a little bit of a letdown. I don't want to get involved in laying a big number to Southern Miss, who did go to a bowl game, got a really good running back. But I'm confident FSU's going to score a lot of points. Man, Keon Coleman looks like a real difference maker. So I'm going to go FSU's team total over 41.5 points. I think they get to it at least 45 to 49. And, if Southern Miss scores some and they don't yank their starters early, they'll probably get into the 50s.
Before we let you go, let's just look at NFL. Give me some futures bets. You like the Bengals in the NFC North? You like the Eagles in the NFC East?
Yeah, so I've got the Eagles to win the NFC East at minus 115 price. I also like them over 11.5 wins, which should be small plus money. I like the Bengals minus 2.5 at the Browns. This week, I like the Bengals at plus 150 to win the AFC North. I like the Bengals to win the Super Bowl, although their Super Bowl odds don't give a ton of value. I also like the Bengals over 11.5 at small plus money. If you want to go over 12.5 on their alternate win total, should be able to get about plus 200 on the payout. I'll also fade the Cardinals this week with Washington minus 7. Now, maybe you want to hold on and see if Logan Thomas and Terry McLaurin are cleared for the Commanders, but the Cardinals are in tank mode, so I'll gladly fade them. Even if Thomas and McLaurin don't go, I still like Washington. Not a lot if those guys don't go. If those guys are upgraded, big time play on Washington. Arizona's in full on tank mode. They're starting either Josh Dobbs or 5th round draft pick Clayton Tune, and they just traded for Dobbs 12 days ago.
I believe it's officially mistakes for Drake is the hashtag there to get Drake May as the starting quarterback. Brian, we always appreciate it, man. Take care and look forward to catching up with you next week. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, all. Y'all have a good weekend as well.
Appreciate you.
Take care. Vegas B. Edwards is how you can hit him up on Twitter. Make sure you check him out. VegasInsider.com or MajorWager.com. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the program. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
Here's what's coming up on the game.
Join Jay and Terry Thursday from 3 to 6 p.m. at Carolina Honda Powerhouse on Buckner Road. Get ready for Gamecock Saturday. Last chance to register for the EU 2200i generator, valued at over $1,300.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by WeatherGuard Truck Boxes. If it's a job worth doing, it's a job worth WeatherGuard. Earlier, I named Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Derek Carr is under pressure to start the season. So, too, is Mac Jones. He must prove he's a legit QB1 now. In my eyes, the most heat is on Deshaun, 5 years of guaranteed money. Watson, earn it or else. I'm Boomer Esiason.
CBS Sports Radio.
WeatherGuard, the name that stands for unmatched security in truck boxes, is now making a name for itself on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series circuit. WeatherGuard is the official sponsor of the safety and security work crews at Speedway Motorsports tracks across the country. Engineered to meet the demands from job sites to race sites, WeatherGuard truck boxes feature double welded seams, weather-tight seals, and high security latches and locks. If it's a job worth doing, it's a job worth WeatherGuard. Learn more at weatherguard.com/truck.
Every business seeks an advantage, whether it's having the best location, hiring top talent, or spotting trends before they happen. And now, the United States Postal Service can give your business a new advantage. Introducing USPS Ground Advantage. Reliable and affordable 2 to 5 day package shipping. It's the advantage you need at the price you want. Get the Ground Advantage at USPS.com/advantage. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America.
Hey, Gamecock fans, are you ready for some football? Scott here with Gamecock Traditions, helping you plan your fall. Go to GamecockTraditions.com and download your free Keep Score with the Gamecock schedule. Come by weekly to get your free beat stickers every game. If you don't have time to come in, go to Gamecock Traditions online and place your order so you can pick up and go at our Lexington store. Don't forget, if you're a current Gamecock Club member, you'll get 10% off your new purchases throughout the year. Gamecock Traditions, your Gamecock headquarters, 5134 Sunset Boulevard or at Sandhills, or shop GamecockTraditions.com.
I am here with the new sponsor of 107.5 The Game, Jason Shannon with the Cook and Boardman Group, the nation's leading supplier and largest inventory of architectural and commercial doors, frames, and door hardware. Jason, I know you have some exciting news to share.
Thanks, Bill. And we are very excited to announce the opening of our new storefront right here in the Midlands. We now have a full-service counter open Monday through Friday starting at 7 a.m. We are located at 101 Corporate Boulevard in West Columbia, which is just off of Chris Drive behind Man Tool and Supply. Our experienced team is ready to help you with the selection of high-quality, competitively priced commercial wood and metal doors and hardware, commercial welded and knockdown metal frames, fire-rated doors, access control systems, lock sets, and more. For more information, call us at 803-739-0642. That's 803-739-0642.
The Early Game Show will be broadcasting live from Cook and Boardman for their open house event on Tuesday, September 12th. Come see us and meet the Cook and Boardman team. There'll be free food, giveaways, and door prizes. That's Tuesday, September 12th, starting at 7 a.m. See you there.
This year's Carolina and Clemson Jackpot $5 scratch-off tickets give you a chance to win up to $200,000, whether you're a Gamecock or a Tiger. Plus, you can enter your tickets into the Second Chance promotion for a chance to step on the field or the court to win $50, $75, or even $100,000. In this state, winning the Palmetto Series does matter that much. So get your tickets today. See SCEducationLottery.com for odds and details. Winning and non-winning tickets can be entered. Second chance odds depend on number of entries received.
Staples has big savings on everything for school or the office. Save on school essentials like notebooks, pens, and crayons. In stock and backed by Staples Price Match Guarantee. In store only. Visit staples.com/price match for details. School on, save on at Staples.
The early game
with Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Shen Jensen.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Before we get into Furman, didn't think on a Tuesday I'd be talking about hot dogs, but certainly want to clarify any comments from last Saturday night. The chain crew was not our issue on Saturday night. North Carolina was our issue in the way that we played. The point I was trying to make was that's a really, really critical play to start the second half when you're going to surprise onside kick. And it's disappointing that our kickoff team took the field. UNC's kickoff return team took the field. And then the official comes over, our game management comes over, and I didn't make up a hot dog comment. I was literally told the chain crew was in the locker room eating hot dogs. So this wasn't me trying to be a smart, you know what. I was relaying the information that was told to me, which is disappointing because that's a play. That's basically another way to ice the kicker, if you will. That's not an easy kick to make, what Mitch did. And I watched Coach Brown's press conference, and he talked in his press conference after the game that they were telling their team to watch out for the onside kick to start the second half. He said he told his team that. So that's an extra timeout for them because the chain crew wasn't out there. And that was the frustrating part with me. You're worried about our players executing it. Now they got longer time to get ready for it, or we do, to think about it. And then also it's an extra timeout for the opponent to be over there to coach their guys up to prevent it. So I certainly was frustrated with that. And that's where that comment came from. Thought the chain crew was phenomenal the rest of the night. Other than that one thing, one of the best chain crews I've ever been around. All right. So no hard feelings with the chain crew. That's not why we lost the game. There were a lot of reasons that we didn't perform well. The chain crew wasn't one of them. I was just frustrated. You would hope in an environment like that on national television in a big time game to start the second half that when the entire football team, the University of North Carolina and the University of South Carolina is out there, that we could get the chain crew out there as well.
A lot of things here, a lot of big takeaways. First and foremost, a direct correlation, a direct kin to the guy who calls the upset is the guy who calls onside kick. Watch for the onside. That guy, he calls it every time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't ever happen. But the one time it happens,
he lets everybody in his section know.
I called it. I called it.
I tried to tell him.
That's the guy. That guy, he's very closely related to him. Second, is there a worse food you could be eating in a rush?
I was trying to think about this because my initial thought went to, the referee's eating hot dogs. But then I was like, well, wait a minute. They're just on the side. They're only having to move about 10 yards at a clip. And then I want to know, what kind of hot dogs? Did they have ketchup? Did they have relish? ketchup and mustard? Was chili involved? Because then I feel like we've got a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, it's just really tough to eat a hot dog in a rush. It's like they were just sitting there enjoying their hot dog.
Well, you say it's really tough. There are people who have mastered the art of eating like.
Very true.
Do they have a tray of hot dogs? Do you have to place an order? Is it like golf where with 7 minutes?
I imagine they just sort of come around and it's like it's halftime, it's hot dogs.
What
Sure, I'll
beverages?
have one.
What beverages are with this? I mean, I want to know more about these hot dogs. I might actually have a.
Can we source this?
I might actually have a source on this now that I think about it. I think I've got. Also, we'll go back. Let me see if I can get a text in here by the end of the time.
There's such terminology that I just want to use for the kind of source you have that revolves around hot dogs. I'm just not gonna.
Thank you very much. Third, out from this comment, best chain crew ever.
Oh man, ever.
Is there any way we can find is there a consensus ratings on chain crews as far as who's the best crew ever, what makes them the best crew ever, how good does one chain crew perform? Where can we find this information?
I want to get into that. I don't know if we're gonna have enough time, but I think I have someone
inside source
that well, not from Charlotte, but that is on one of these groups and is in one of these groups. I'm not gonna tell you which group he is. It is an SEC school, and I don't think we're gonna have enough time. I actually want to know more here, like what hot dogs are served. Is it like a little buffet? Do you have a tray of them, or is it just the vendor that gets sent down and he's just got his little box?
They probably just bring a little box down for the chain crew
Or
because they've been
chips,
working
or
hard.
chips associated with this?
I doubt it. I think it's just, hey man, we got a couple of extra hot dogs. It's probably not even part of what is the deal. We got a couple of extras laying around. Give me one of those.
You don't think they get fed at halftime?
Listen, man, like I said, chain crews, it's not the glorious job that we all think it is.
I also
they get a good view of the game.
As you brought up, I'd like to revisit what makes a good chain crew. Is it knowing just 10 yards?
Got to flip that thing over.
Is it a little hustle if a team's trying to run tempo to get that chain lined up for 10 more yards?
Being able to drop the chains when somebody's coming is a very important skill. Because you don't want people to hit the chains. And for all you dorks out there that are saying that we need to get rid of the chain crew and this is football and we have all this technology and why do we need? No, the chain crew is not going anywhere. It's a part of the game.
I'm gonna work on this and see if we can get an update on what happens. Yeah, on what happens. I will just say he is a member of an I know he is on an SEC sideline. That much I know. I don't know if he is the guy. And is the chain gang just the two guys? Is it the guy holding the marker?
Yeah, they're all. It's all.
So
part
it's
of
a
the
team
crew.
effort.
Yeah,
So
it's
there's
crew.
Again, as we've learned today, a lot of mistakes to go around.
That's it. Yep. Because we don't even know if everybody was eating hot dogs. It might have just been one guy.
20.
Yeah.
They had to wait for him. It's like, come on, Preston, finish that hot dog, man. We got to finish.
Yeah, we go out as a team, unlike Riley Leonard and his offensive line, who did not go to the professor as a team. Boy, we've had a good show, and we've been on for all 3 hours, and it's an actual work day back. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Y'all have a great day. Getting out, purchasing a brand new vehicle, well, that can be a lot of fun if you go to the right dealership. You can learn all kinds of new things. You can find out which car, truck, or SUV is the absolute best for you. But what's important is the fact that you've went to the right dealership. And at Love Chevrolet, they've understood that for over 60 years. Over 60 years, they've taken care of families just like yours and mine, making sure that we get the best deal possible by offering the $1,000 low price guarantee, which means you can go find other deals, take it back to the folks at Love Chevrolet, and they'll top it. They've also offered you the largest selection of anywhere in the Midlands, 14 acres to be exact. And as I mentioned, it is that great sales staff, friendly, knowledgeable, ready to help you from the second you drive on the lot, the second you leave with that brand new vehicle. So see, going and buying a brand new car should be a blast and a lot of fun. Get out to Love Chevrolet today. Go visit I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park and find new roads.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. what you're talking about.
On 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. There are lots of places to buy your next ride, but there is no place like Love Chevy, where you never pay more than MSRP, ever. Come by and feel the difference of love. I-26 at Harbison.
Y'all have a great day. We may have an anonymous guest tomorrow on the chain gang situation. Y'all have a great day. Take care.